never happened before. It's so great to be back with you all. I know we had a bit of a hiatus between AGDQ and some other things going on with life. You know how life works. Sometimes life comes at you. You just got to deal with it. But here we are. And I'm so happy to be back with you all. But not only that, but I, Kungfufruitcup, because I never introduced myself, am joined tonight with SharkHat87, or just SharkHat, who is getting ready to do a Dead Space 2 flow run and exhibition showcase. It's going to be really fun. What's up, SharkHat? How you doing?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me on the show.
Yeah, of course. So happy to have you. So for those of you who missed it, you could have seen SharkHat's run at this past AGDQ of Dead Space 2. And after watching that, I was like, okay, we need to have that on the show so that we can get like some more explanation about what the heck is going on and all of these glitches that are happening. So really, really excited to have him on. It's going to be awesome. I'm trying to think of anything else because it's been a while since we've been together, but I think I'm just ready to get into it. For those of you who have never seen this show before, since it has been a little bit, hi, this is That's Never Happened Before, and it is a show that primarily focuses on glitches involved in speedruns. So we pick games that are pretty glitch heavy and have on runners who have a lot of wealth of information and knowledge about these runs. They can then break down the glitches within them in all kinds of different formats. You can come in and see runs that are slowed down and have points of like very specific explanation throughout, or like pure showcases where it's beginner glitches up through advanced ones and beyond, and all mixes. So today we're kind of having a hybrid of that, which is going to be awesome. So before we get into things, I'd love to hear a little bit from you, SharkHat, about kind of your experiences. Like, my first question is, because I could not grow up playing scary games, watching scary things. I can watch scary games now, but it's hard for me to play them. So
Yeah.
for you, like, what got you into kind of the horror genre, and then why speedrun them?
Well, so I guess I've always really enjoyed horror games. It's really like that, and I guess 3D platformers, which is a bit of a weird mix. Although this game is kind of both of those things actually, so it sort of makes sense. But yeah, no, I grew up playing a lot of horror games. It's just been a genre I've always really liked. Yeah, I guess that's mostly it. It's really just like games I really enjoyed playing, which I guess is always
Yeah, no
good
problem.
for picking games you want to speed run. But I don't know, this was always just one of my favorite games to play as a kid, or I guess in like middle school or high school or whatever. And
Oh.
eventually I ended up looking up a speed run of it and ended up finding one, and it was just so cool seeing the tricks at the time when I started, and that's sort of what got me into it, honestly, was seeing, oh, you can skip, this part of this level. I just kind of assumed that you wouldn't be able to do any glitches in this game because I figured it was very well made, which it is. But if you really know what you're doing, you can exploit it, which is funny because now I'm here showing all of you how to glitch this game, which is something I didn't think you could do 2 years ago. So that's sort of how I got here.
Yeah, it's kind of great. I mean, it's like you can look at games like you play Breath of the Wild casually and you're like, this is such a beautiful game. It's so well made. Look at this. And then suddenly the way that you can just totally take advantage of the physics engines and, go through walls and fly off through the map. And like, you never know. Games that even seem like they're beautiful and well made can really hold a wealth of hilariously broken mechanics.
Absolutely.
You really never know. So it's really exciting for this game. So like, I guess we have a little bit of your insight on Dead Space 2 specifically, but like, what do you think is the most fun you've had since speedrunning this game or other games? Like, what have you found like the most enjoyment in?
You mean like speed runs other than this game in particular?
No, it's like within the game itself.
Oh,
Like,
okay.
what as like just a scary game speedrunner, or even just a speedrunner in general? Like, what would you say is the thing that kind of motivates you the most or excites you the most?
I really enjoy seeing new things get found in the game. I guess it sort of comes back to that original feeling of it just seems like the game would be really hard to break and that you couldn't do it. So every time that we do it, it's just really satisfying to see that progress and just to sort of see the things we thought would be impossible actually get solved. Or, there's been skips in this game that were sought after for a really long time, and we then found them, but now those things aren't even in the run because we found even bigger skips that skip over those areas entirely. And it's just insane to see that progression, and also the fact that it's gotten almost an hour faster since I started running the game
Oh my
2 years
gosh.
ago.
Wait, and how long of a span of time has that been?
So November 2019, the world record was a 158 by Waifu. And currently, the first world record of the year was just set a few days ago. It's a 104.36 now.
Oh my gosh.
So,
yeah, that is almost an hour.
So
Oh
the fact that we're just getting so much closer to sub hour, I think, is also very motivating, because people were saying years ago that sub 2 wasn't going to happen, and we might be beating the game in under 1 hour now. So
yeah, it's really amazing how these games
goes.
can progress, and like how the community can really come together to be like, what else can we do? How can we optimize this? So really cool to see. Plus, I know you mentioned that that the run with all of these time saves and things, like we're skipping chunks that were previously used. So for those of you watching, you might be able to see some of these like previous skips and like older strats that are still really cool. Just they're not as fast anymore. So Sharkheads wants to show us some of those awesome moments. So that'll be really, really cool to learn about and to see how the run has evolved. This is kind of an educational show. And I know that's a really scary term for people coming in and being like, I'm ready for entertainment. Why would you say the word educational? But it's because it's really cool. So really, really excited to see that. Also, for those of you watching, if you have any questions throughout, feel free to post them in chat. I'll be checking periodically since I'm just here as kind of a peanut gallery backup commentator, while Sharkhat really takes the show, and I can help relay questions over. So yeah, lovely getting to know you a little bit and like hear about your experiences. Feel free to talk more about yourself and anything around this game and anything about yourself like as we go along. But I want to let you get into it and show us what you have to offer for Dead Space 2.
Sure, that sounds great. And yeah, there's lots of stories on how a lot of these things got found too. So if that finds its way into the commentary, then that'd be fun to talk about.
Perfect. Please tell the stories.
Okay.
Love to hear.
Sweet. Okay. Well, yeah, we can go and get started here.
Great.
I don't know if we're doing any kind of countdown, but we can if you want. So
either you or I. It's up to you.
All right. We'll do a countdown here from 5. So time will start when I select the difficulty here. So we'll go in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. All right. So immediately the first thing we need to talk about is that there's no intro cutscene here. Normally we have to watch a 4-minute unskippable cutscene before we gain control of the main character here. And the reason that we're able to do this, show up here, is because we get a checkpoint where I just spawn here. So see, if I checkpoint restart, I still show up right here. So you can actually set any checkpoint you want to start the game from when you select new game. So we have a mod that sets it to this instead of the intro cutscene, and that lets us just start here right away. As you can imagine, watching a 4-minute cutscene before you start playing can be pretty annoying. And hey, we got lucky here. This chair right next to this necromorph here can actually block your path there and instantly kill your run. And you have to reset like 5 seconds in. But we got lucky there, so that didn't happen.
Because of a chair.
Oh, you would be surprised how many chairs can kill your run in this game. I'm not even joking.
So are chairs the true run killers?
The chairs are honestly scarier than the necromorphs sometimes. But we'll talk about that in a bit. So that was chapter 0. The game is divided into 15 chapters, including that short opening section.
Okay, so that's like to get your blood pumping and being like, here's all the dangers of the game. We're like unable to do anything. Gotcha.
Exactly. So we're in a straitjacket here. So I can move the camera and can run around, but I can't access my inventory. I can't melee, can't aim. Pretty much most of our basic movement options until we get cut out of the straitjacket. I wanted to show off a cool glitch here though, while we wait, or before we get there. So I'm actually gonna quit to the main menu and reload this save.
Okay.
So I don't know why, but if you buffer movement in the straitjacket, so if I'm holding sprint and then like running right here, I can actually run away from the save station before it can pull me in, because as you can see, it's open here. Oh, okay. So I stopped moving, so it pulled me in. So I'm gonna do that one more time because we can do something cool with this. So
okay, so I will say really quickly that that sometimes when runners are trying to explain things, they're not used to stopping to explain it.
Yeah.
And it can often like mess up the skip. So like no worries if that happens. It's like super normal.
Oh yeah, no problem. Yeah, this stops. So if I stop moving, it pulls me back, and I kind of slide like that, and it looks really silly. But it's supposed to play that animation after the load screen is done, but you can interrupt it by moving. Unfortunately, this only works when you're in the straitjacket, which is only the first minute of the run.
Interesting.
But I can show something really cool here. So if I go into this next room and then stop, it's gonna pull me back in here. But now the level's unloaded because I'm supposed to be on the other side right now. So Okay, so you can see through there. There's some guards there, and normally there's this this enemy that comes down and pulls them up. But I'm gonna. Well, I'll explain this trick more in a little bit how this works with unloading the level. But essentially, it's partially unloaded now. Like the collision is all here, but the textures are unloaded, so we can see out of bounds. So the thing that grabs these guards is actually a regular enemy called a slasher, but they just stretch its arms out. You can see it up here. It looks really weird.
Okay, so this is all we can see is the arms. Well, it's so dark.
Yeah, it looks very strange. Here, I'll reload this so we can actually see now. But it's once you see it, you can't really unsee it. It's really just a regular arm of an enemy that just stretches out and grabs them. It looks very odd. Because you never see this enemy again. Well, unless it's supposed to be the first mini boss. I don't know. It might. I think it might be. I don't know.
Has it been so long that you don't remember?
No, it's just I think I remember hearing about that there might have been some cut enemy type. So I don't know if it was supposed to be that or if it is supposed to be the first mini boss, because it looks a little bit like it too, I guess.
Okay. Oh, okay. Okay, I see what you mean. I thought you meant like you were able to skip whatever the first mini boss would be. Okay, but
all right.
I see what you mean.
Okay, so that's enough straitjacket shenanigans. We're gonna get cut out now. So we've got our good friend Edgar here. He's nice and friendly, and he's gonna eventually cut us out of the straitjacket, but he's gonna talk to us a little bit. But after this, we're gonna get a very, very powerful item, which is the flashlight, which might sound like a joke, but it is actually very broken. So what the flashlight does is when you pick it up, it exits you or cancels this cutscene here. So it cancels the animation that you're in. But it turns out that there's a tutorial you can pull up, and if you use it, it spawns the flashlight in again, and you can do this as many times as you want. So then if you pick up the flashlight, it cancels whatever cutscene you're in. So we can actually skip 2 cutscenes up here by duplicating the flashlight and then picking it up, because you can pick it up from anywhere on the map. So as long as we're in this map, we can do that. Unfortunately, it's a bit limited. I'll explain why when we get there.
Okay.
But yes, we're cut out now. And so we're coming up to the locker here. So this restore health tutorial is going to be important. So I use that, and it lets me pick up the flashlight, and now I can move normally again. But I'll show here. If I pull up this tutorial again, you can see the flashlight spawns in again.
Oh.
And so you can do that as many times as you want. But the really cool thing is, if I leave the room, or even if I'm all the way across the map, I can still pick up the flashlight again. So I'm gonna do that in a few times here to, like I said, break out of some animations when I'm not supposed to.
Okay, makes sense. Because you're able to like on it. It's almost like you were saying with the straitjacket thing, in the beginning when it like pulls you around. It seems like maybe there's kind of a similar concept of like it trying to interact with something so far away.
Yeah, it's really cool that you can grab it from anywhere on the map. Unfortunately, so the reason you can't use it anywhere is there's an ability called kinesis that we get, and we need that to beat the game. And for some reason, even though we don't have kinesis yet, picking up the flashlight gets rid of kinesis. So it actually soft locks the run. Now there is a trick you can do with flashlight duping later, which I can show after the run, which we can do for kind of a cool skip.
Yeah. Okay. But basically it's almost like it would maybe set a flag back to this point in the game if you try to pick up the flashlight then, which is why it'd be like, oh, you can't have kinesis at this point.
Exactly. I think that's why. It's something like that. But unfortunately, we can't. This chapter would be a lot faster if we could do that. But okay, we're coming up to 2 other things here. So there's a tutorial here for the locator, which is this ability we have to see waypoints on the ground. It's usually for casual play. You can see, okay, I want to get to the next save station or bench or my objective, and it kind of puts a little line on the ground. So we're supposed to get a tutorial here that stops us, and then we can't move until we use the locator. But if we aim and then press the locator button, we can skip it like that.
Oh.
It's a short little thing. All right, so here, it's a little bit dark, so it's kind of hard to see, but you can actually climb on this table here and do a little bit of a sequence break. And this glitch is called wall boosting here, and you'll see this a lot in the run, but essentially how it works is, for whatever reason, certain geometry in the game, if you run against it with high enough FPS, you can start climbing it. And then, again, it's kind of hard to see. I'm trying to point where I'm going to be going, but you can actually run across these chairs here and make it to the other side like that. Chair. Oh yeah, there's someone chilling there.
Yeah.
But you can actually make it around here, and you can actually skip that jump scare too if you are far enough to the left. But that's just a little quick trick to get around here. We call that table boost.
Okay. I'm assuming that saves like seconds.
Oh, it's like 3 seconds. Yeah, it's not a lot. Okay, so here's where we're actually going to use flashlight duping to skip something. So right here, we get a cutscene where we hallucinate in the shower room here. So I'm going to use the tutorial, which I don't know if I can actually... I might be able to show this. You might be able to see the flashlight spawning back in. Up there. Yeah, you can see the icon for it all the way over there. Okay.
Okay.
So I need to spawn it in again. The trick is I can't interact with anything after I've used the tutorial because I need to interact to pick up the flashlight. So if I do it in the wrong order, I'll pick it up and then interact with the thing, and then I can't, cancel it. So here I'm gonna walk into this cutscene and pick up the flashlight, and then it just skips it, and I can keep going.
Oh, whoa! So how tight would you say the timing is on that?
For that one, it's pretty easy. You can pick up the you can close the tutorial whenever, and then as soon as you hit the cutscene, you just pick up the flashlight. So as long as you don't pick it up too early, you're good.
Okay.
Okay.
Nice.
So for that, we're gonna do another one here. So for this one, I have to actually get in the vent and then close the tutorial, because otherwise I'll pick up the flashlight and then get in the vent, and it won't be there.
Okay, so is the flashlight still up for grabs right now, or did you already get it?
It is, yeah. So I have to be careful to not press interact until I get to the right point here. And I'll show this other skip I was mentioning you can do here. If I won't do it now because I'll soft lock, but if I pick up the flashlight, he'll actually just stand up in the vent. He'll stand up and then you clip out of bounds out the top.
Oh no.
But so when we fall into this cutscene here, I'm gonna pick up the flashlight again.
And has that not been found to be helpful, like potentially going out of bounds in the vent where there's nothing there, maybe?
So it is, and you can skip straight to the end of the chapter from here, but then you don't have kinesis anymore, and you need that to leave the first chapter. So then you get stuck. And even if you got past that, you need it for the rest of the game.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Okay.
So you'd be stuck. Okay, so I'm gonna go into this cutscene, and you can see my camera breaks here. So this is something that happens when cutscenes get interrupted. Sometimes the camera just sort of goes to your feet.
Oh my gosh.
And I can't turn my camera here. I move my mouse, but nothing's happening. Unless I aim,
horrible.
then I can move the camera. But otherwise it breaks.
You're like a strafing mouse.
Pretty much, yeah.
Okay.
So usually what we do here is we checkpoint restart because that fixes the camera.
Okay.
And
how much time are you saving by doing all this?
So both flashlight dupes together only save about 9 seconds. So it's nothing crazy, but it is a nice time save. I will say, besides the kinesis thing, which that's what I'm picking up now, actually. This is the ability that lets me pick up objects and throw them. So chapter 1, which is the level we're in, also actually needs to be loaded for flashlight duping to work. So even if it didn't take away kinesis, you can only use it in this first chapter, which is kind of unfortunate actually, because there's some pretty broken things you could probably do with it if it still worked. But it's still pretty cool. Makes the beginning of the run more interesting anyway. Oh, you'll also notice, this is kind of a small detail, I just got another restore health tutorial from that health pack that I picked up. If you try to do it with this one, it actually replaces the old one, so now it doesn't work anymore. So if I pull up this tutorial now, I can't pick up the flashlight anymore. It just doesn't do anything. I'm not really sure why.
Yeah. I mean, it seems like it's fine, because otherwise you would accidentally get rid of your kinesis, so.
Exactly. Okay, so we're coming up to the first big, major skip in the run here. So we're gonna meet our friend Steve, the slasher here. That's what we call him. So we're gonna be pushing him into this room here, and he's not gonna wanna go in there, because usually the enemies will only wanna stay in the 1 or 2 rooms that they spawn in. So you can see here, he's trying to walk away from me. So he's trying to get back into there, but I'm trying to not let him. And if he stays in this area for long enough without being able to get back, he kind of just gives up and stands still. So he's just chilling here. And the cool part about this is that doors will stay open if an enemy's near it. So he's just gonna be a nice friend and hold the door open for us there. And that's gonna be important in a little bit here.
Okay.
So I mentioned at the beginning that we can deload parts of the level. And the way the game loads things in is usually through opening doors. And sometimes when you open too many doors at once, it'll unload things. And so you can sort of trick the game into letting you get into these unloaded areas. And the reason that's useful is because if the level stops loading things in, eventually you'll just like walk out of bounds, which is what we're going to be doing here. Or the other use for it is that when you're in an unloaded area, doors also don't have any collision. So there's times where, not for this level, but in other places, you can actually just walk straight through locked doors because they're just not there anymore. Which is really cool because sometimes you can go through locked doors that never unlock, that are just there for show. But, you know, if it's there or if it's not there, then you can just walk through it, which is pretty neat. So it's kind of like solving a puzzle, actually, which is kind of neat.
Also, the plasma cutter is so good.
Oh, yes. So this is our first weapon. This gun is really good in this game.
And the first one.
Oh, yes. They tend to nerf this gun in each game. In Dead Space 3, it's not very good, but in Dead Space 1, it's actually really broken.
Yeah, I was like, it's the best thing you can have.
Yes.
Yeah,
okay, so before we do that big skip, there's actually another pretty important glitch we got to talk about here, which is infinite ammo. And this almost isn't even really a glitch, but so you see here, I have no, well, actually, I'm going to drop this just to show it off. So I have no extra ammo in my inventory, but when I shoot here, it lets me reload as many times as I want. So you have to kill this guy to progress here. You can't throw items at him. You can't run past him. You have to shoot him with this gun. So as a soft lock prevention measure, they give you infinite reloads. And as soon as you go through that door, it takes it away. But the thing is, we're not going that way. We're going the other way. So we didn't know this until like a month after the skip was found. But this applies to all your guns for the rest of the game. You have infinite reloads.
So as long as you're able to get that friend in the door and then unlock this other path, you're good to go on ammo.
Exactly. As long as we don't leave the room from that side, we'll have infinite reloads. Which also means I can't use this ammo even if I wanted to. I can shoot my whole clip and then reload, but it doesn't pull it from the inventory. I still have the same number of shots.
Wow.
And this was actually found on accident.
So interesting, like even loading new sections of the game and stuff, it still just keeps all your ammo, like infinite. So
yeah, it's really interesting because then we end up just turning the ammo into money, basically, because we just sell it all. Okay, so now we're coming back to Steve here. So this deload's a little complicated. I can explain some of the other ones in a little bit more detail, because it'll make more sense. But essentially, we're gonna walk through here and get Steve out of the way. So Steve's gonna not be there anymore. But once this closes, the game thinks that we're actually still over. I think this is how this one works, is the game thinks that we're still on that side. I might be wrong in this one. This one's a little weird. But now you can see where this door's supposed to be. There's no collision here.
Yeah.
And you can actually still, the cool thing is you can actually still open the doors. They're just not solid. So I'm gonna head back this way and walk past where another of these doors is supposed to be. And like I said, I'm gonna open it because, as I mentioned before, opening doors will load things in, but closing doors will unload things too, which can also be useful. So like I said, it's kind of like a puzzle. So in this case, there's an elevator over there, and it turns out that closing this door from this side deloads that elevator. But the thing is, normally it wouldn't be useful because if this was all loaded in normally, if I tried to walk back through here, I have to open the doors, and by opening those doors, it loads back in. But since they're not solid, I got the level loaded the way I want. Now I can just walk over there without a problem, and we can get out of bounds.
Awesome.
Yeah, so as you can imagine, this is pretty broken. So we actually have a different category called no deloads, where you're not allowed to unload level geometry or door or collision or doors or anything like that to skip anything.
So then you wouldn't be able to have unlimited ammo.
No, and no deloads. Yeah, you have regular ammo. Yeah.
Gotcha.
So I'm gonna run through this where the elevator's supposed to be, and now the lower level's loaded in. So now I'm going to do a lineup here to make sure that I can hit a door. So like I said, since opening doors loads things in, you can actually load doors in to catch you, like to load the level around you. So I'm falling into an area where nothing is loaded. But if I open this door, then the level should load in if I did this right. Okay, we got it. So as you can see, it loads in that side, and it loads in this side as well. I can do this side deloaded, but I'll actually load it back in just so you all can kind of see where we are.
Okay.
So this is the first boss of the game, the tripod. And this is, I kid you not, unironically, the hardest boss fight in the run to do fast.
Oh, okay.
That being said, it's not very hard. He's already dead. The bosses in this game aren't particularly difficult, but...
That was it?
Yeah, he's dead. The fight on harder difficulties is actually pretty difficult, but...
yeah, because this is casual.
Yes, I should mention, we're playing on casual for any percent because it's the fastest. But we do have categories for the Zealot and hardcore difficulties as well.
Okay. Can you do similar skips, or are there any like really major differences with the harder difficulty?
So for Zealot, not really, honestly. It's just that enemies do more damage to you. So you just have to, the weapon routing is a little different. You have to buy some different weapons, that kind of thing. Where it gets really cool is hardcore though, because on that difficulty, there's no checkpoints and you can only save the game 3 times. So that means if you have to do any kind of trick that involves going out of bounds and hitting a checkpoint to reload, they don't work anymore. So the routing gets pretty cool because you have to make sure everything can all be done without having to reload. That's pretty cool. But we're in chapter 2 now. One other thing I should mention before we continue is you might notice, if you've seen this game before, that we're not supposed to be in the patient suit anymore.
Right.
So that skip that we just did is called stasis skip or suit skip. So there's a room where there's a door that's locked, and the only way to unlock it is to buy a suit. But we skipped that room completely, so that requirement is just sort of out the door. And so now we're gonna keep the suit for the rest of the game. And if you liked infinite ammo, well, guess what? This suit actually has infinite air for some reason.
Infinite air. I remember this about the run. Haha. Here we go.
Yeah.
That part's cool.
Again, no reason. No. I don't know why. It says, if you see here, patient suit air 120 seconds. That's just not true. We just don't have an air meter for some reason. I mean, you're not supposed to be in a vacuum with this suit, to be fair, so it kind of makes sense.
Because you don't actually have a helmet?
Yeah, exactly. So some of the animations are going to look kind of weird. There's places where Isaac's supposed to talk, and he just has this deadpan face still. But yeah, we'll go ahead and continue. And you might have noticed that I mentioned the skip was called stasis skip. So we do need to get the kinesis ability to beat the game, but we actually did not get stasis. So we're not going to be getting that back for the rest of the game either, because the game does not give it to us. Also, this guy doesn't have collision, by the way. You can just run through him. Ooh, okay.
Oh.
one cool glitch before we continue. So this isn't used in the run, but you see this elevator button here? You can actually hit this through the wall here. And when you do that, oh, that guy just disappears. I actually didn't know that. But so this area deloads.
Whoa.
So I'm not going to step out there because actually I can just show you. So if we fall out here, we die. Also, yes, if you fall too long, you die. That's another soft lock prevention thing they added to the game.
Oh, that's nice though.
It is. Well, actually, there's one part where it's not nice for us, but we have a way to get around it.
Oh, okay. That's what I expect.
Oh, you're
Definitely
here.
what I expected this.
I was not expecting him to be there. Okay, we'll just take the elevator up now. All right, so we just gotta take this up until we can do our next trick here. So yeah, as you can see, there's lots of weird things you can do. People have actually found that deload on accident too, which is pretty funny.
The falling through the room thing or the elevator thing?
Oh yeah, the elevator thing. Yeah.
Oh.
It happened to me on accident too the first time I saw it. Because if you're just mashing interact at that point, it's really easy to hit it on accident.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Okay, so I'm gonna get this checkpoint here just so I can show this off. So if you remember earlier that table boost trick that I did, we're gonna be doing something similar to that with wall boosting, where we climb walls. I'm just gonna wait until to kill this enemy here, so he's not in my way. So I'll show this part. So you see when I run here, I can climb on this plant here. So,
okay.
this one's called plant boost. You know, we have very creative names for our tricks in this game.
Right.
Or pot plant boost, whatever you want to call it. So I'm climbing this, but you'll notice if I just run into it like this, I don't climb it. And that's because there's actually something else going on that you see not super often in this game, actually, which is temporary height storage. Which is, if you see here, I'm running into this corner, and then if I step away fast enough, you can't really see it, but if I pulled up my coordinates and showed them, you'd be able to see I'm actually very, very slightly higher off the ground than I normally am for some reason. And with that stored height, I can actually climb the plant if I do it right. Usually you do it backwards. For some reason, it's easier to store the height if you run backwards. But so when I first saw this, I thought you were actually running across the railing like that, but it turns out you're just actually gaining a bit of extra height. Like I can even just walk around here and then come back and climb the plant.
Interesting.
So yeah, it's kind of weird how that works. It goes away if you, like if I get it here and then run into a wall, I'm pretty sure it goes away and then I can't climb it. Yeah. Okay, so we'll actually do the trick here. And I'll explain this more too, but I can do a thing called a stomp launch here to get a bit more speed. But that'll come back. I can explain that more in detail in a bit. But there's a checkpoint here. I'm out of bounds. I can't get back in. So speaking of hardcore earlier, this is a place where you can't do this trick because otherwise you're soft locked here. But since I've already hit the checkpoint, I can reload and it'll just put us back in bounds where we're supposed to be.
Cool. Huh. I love how the game starts and it's immediately so broken.
Yeah. Yeah. Besides, there's like a few minutes of cutscene at the beginning, but it's nothing too bad. Then it really picks up. I should also point out, Looney can correct me at some point later if I'm wrong, but I believe that was the first trick found in the game right there that I just did. So that has not changed. That has not changed since like 2013. That part of the run.
The plant boost.
Well, except for the stomp, that's new. But the main plant boost thing, yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
It was either that or a trick later in the run, but I forget which one was found first. Oh, here's a cool thing. So I can get knocked down by this guy if you run straight at him. But if you do a little dodge here, it manipulates him into not jumping out on that side, and you can just run past him.
Oh, weird. Awesome.
So for this room, we're pretty much just trying to clear the enemies as fast as possible to unlock a door. So
it involves killing everything off.
Yeah, so we have to kill the first two, and then run far enough into the room to get these guys to spawn. And then once we kill 4 of these, then the door will unlock. And I'm actually going to shoot this explosive at this guy, because he's invincible coming out of the vent unless you throw the explosive at him.
Okay.
So for whatever reason, that one-shots him. I'm not sure why. Okay, I'm going to attempt to do a glitch here, where I deload part of the train. This one doesn't work for me sometimes. I think just because I haven't done it as much.
Okay. So you want to set us up?
What'd you say?
Set us up for it?
Oh, yes. Okay. So I'm going to let this enemy come in here, and I'm going to kill him while the door's open. And I believe that should work. So normally we would actually kill those enemies a bit faster to get the door open, but figured I'd show this off while we're here. This is kind of cool. So if I did that right, the door should still be open or unlocked. It is. Okay, cool. So normally this is a locked door right here, but it's just open now. And then I can run through here. And unfortunately, we still have to wait for this locked door to open, but you'll see a little visual glitch because of this little deload we did. There's a train we're going to fly to, but the textures of it aren't actually loaded until we get up to it. So you just see the door. You see the doors just kind of floating in space and then nothing around them. Unfortunately, this is not faster. It's like just a little bit slower, but it is pretty cool.
Yeah, to like see it happen like that.
Okay, yeah, so you see here, there's supposed to be another train car there.
Oh, that's the door.
You do still have to dodge the doors, though. They will kill you.
Oh, so you're actually controlling this as well. It's not a cutscene.
Yeah. I mean, it's a little bit of an auto-scroller, but yeah, you can move around.
Right. Gotcha.
All right. So normally I would checkpoint restart here when this quick time event is over, but since this isn't real time, it's a bit faster to not do that. Since we time the game we time out the loads. Because if you restart there, it puts you a little bit further into the train.
Gotcha.
So there's a few places like that. Most of them save time in real time as well, but there's a few like that that are a bit meany, where you're only really saving 2 seconds, even though you have to watch like a 10-second load screen.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
But, you know, the load's removed, so you do what you gotta do, I guess.
Yeah.
All right. So here we gotta kill all these enemies as they come out to progress. The aiming controls are very weird. Like, I'm not moving my mouse right now. He's just shaking up and down like that. You have to sort of fight that as you go.
Awesome. They're trying to like hold you in suspense because you literally can't move.
Exactly.
Gotcha.
Oh, he didn't die. Okay, there we go. Little fun fact here, I didn't reload there, and you see my clips reloaded. A lot of cutscenes will do that. They'll actually refill your clip, just in case just so you don't run out of ammo, I think.
Yeah.
Because in that case, there's actually no way to kill him without shooting him there. You can't pick up anything and throw it at him or anything like that.
Gotcha.
So I assume that's why.
Actually, the game doing you quite a bit of a favor.
It really is.
Yeah.
Oh, I need
really
a
nice.
route.
What happened? I thought we lost you.
Unscheduled stop. Where am I?
How did you end up there?
All right. We can actually just run past these enemies here. And the way that this room works is that elevator door locks over there.
Okay.
And it doesn't unlock until a cutscene plays. And to get the cutscene to play, we have to kill all these enemies. The goal is just to take them out as fast as we can.
So this is just vanilla, like, just do it.
Yeah, exactly. One little interesting note is that this guy doesn't count towards that counter.
Yeah, I can tell.
So that's why I was leaving him for last there.
Yeah. Did all the little ones and skipped him. I was like, he must not be part of it.
Yeah, sometimes you have to take a leg off him or something like that because he can try to grab you or get in your way. But
It's just inconvenient rather than necessary.
yeah, exactly. So again, we don't have a need for ammo, so I'm just gonna sell all of it. And I need to actually sell one of these. And we're gonna buy the line gun and the javelin gun.
Okay.
And we're gonna be keeping those for a little while, actually. And the reason I didn't get in this elevator right away is because these doors won't open until he's done talking. So as long as you get here before he stops, you don't actually lose any time there, which is really nice because otherwise there's not really a lot of places in the game to shop where you're, not going to lose time.
Yeah, so that's like a good kind of guaranteed case you can do it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't mention these either. We skip a lot of them in the run, but for these hack panels, the patterns are random, so you just have to guess where they are.
Oh, okay. I thought it was like just like another kind of mini cutscene. I didn't realize you were doing anything yourself while he was like reaching around in there.
Oh yeah, so there's 8 positions that they can be in, and you have to get 3 blue ones in a row to finish the hack. But they'll also throw in red ones as well, so you have to be careful not to hit those. Because if you misclick at all, you have to do the whole thing over again, which loses a lot of time.
Yeah. You have like you said since they're random, do you have like patterns that you try to follow for them?
I haven't noticed any particular patterns myself. I like to kind of start on the bottom and then work my way around, but that's just a personal preference for me.
Okay. Gotcha.
They can be 3 in a row. They can be in opposite places. It's just weird. All right, so the fastest way to clear this room is actually to shoot out this vent here and then close it. So for whatever reason, that unlocks this vent faster than actually fighting the enemies the normal way.
Oh.
So
Do you not have to fight them after?
No, you actually don't have to. If you do it right or fast enough, you can actually avoid hitting the load zone or trigger that makes them spawn.
It makes them spawn.
So you don't have to kill them. I mean, it doesn't really matter either way. But
It's like my preferred way to play.
yeah. All right, so we haven't had a glitch in a little while, so we're gonna do that.
Time. Okay, so what do we have coming up?
Okay, I'm gonna save at the save station here because there's actually 2 different skips you can do here.
Okay.
So I'll show the original version first, which is you hit this button here to stop all that machinery and let us into that room. Then we're gonna take out these enemies. Oh, he actually died in 1 hit. That's pretty rare.
Nice.
Cool.
Beautiful.
All right. So we're gonna head in here. Now, in 0G, we can clip out of bounds pretty much. I shouldn't say anywhere, but pretty much any 0G room, there's at least 1 spot to clip out. So this is garbage skip here. You're supposed to run down there and hit that button, and then that opens this door, and you got to fly all the way down there. So instead, I'm gonna do something called a wiggle clip. And I believe the way this works is Isaac's body is actually made up of several different parts. So his arm is a different object than his torso, and then his head and legs, etc. So I believe how this works is you clip some of those objects through the wall, and then they help pull the rest of them through. So essentially, you can, if you wiggle back and forth in the right spot, you can either clip to the floor, the wall, the ceiling.
Okay.
So then now we're out of bounds, but the 0G area is still out here. And so you can actually fly over to this checkpoint over here. Or if you're doing more of a real-time run, you can open the door and that loads you back in, and then you're here. But I'm gonna go ahead and reload that save there. Oops, not multiplayer.
Oh, because it'll take you to the checkpoint that you just hit.
Exactly, yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so now what we're gonna do is something, this is a little bit faster now. This is called a save station clip. So don't panic, everyone, but we're gonna be going to about 5 FPS for a few seconds. So it's not the stream lagging. So we use tools to toggle the FPS for certain tricks. Because the game's physics are tied directly to the FPS. So sometimes things work at higher FPS, like the 0G clips, and things like this work at lower FPS. So it's all done
there are
to...
other games that like use FPS to like do more damage. Like higher FPS means like more attacks at once, or
Exactly. Yeah. So in this case, this particular trick is more consistent at lower FPS. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go to 5 FPS, and then I'm going to walk forward, and then aim and let go of aim. And if I do that all with the right timing, the save station is going to try to pull me in, but it's going to pull me through the wall instead. Because normally when I use it, you can see it pulls me in like that.
Oh, yeah.
So we're going to abuse that momentum to clip through the wall like this. Now I'm on the other side.
Awesome. So do you have the FPS set to like a hotkey for that?
I do, yes. So I use Rivet Tuner. Some people use Bandicam. It doesn't really matter. But what I have set, I have a few toggles set up. So I have 5 and 19. You'll see why later. There's a few things that are better at like 19 or 20 FPS.
Okay. Cool.
Or if you set VSync on, that locks the game at 30. So that's also pretty useful in some places. But,
cool. Now we're flying. So where do we clip out?
Oh, okay. I'm in the floor. We're good though. Okay. So we actually go to the same. We go to the same place. This is just a bit of a shortcut.
Okay.
So it's still garbage skip. It's just a little bit faster.
Gotcha.
Oh right. I always forget. Hey, if you don't checkpoint restart there, the battery's always in a terrible place. It's always very random. For whatever reason, if you restart there, it's always right where you need it to be. But if you don't, it's always on the opposite sides.
It's always like way far away. Oh, okay. Interesting.
I've actually, I kid you not, it has happened to people where it spawns out of bounds and you can't get it.
Like because they were out of bounds and then try to clip back in and they haven't reloaded?
I'm not even sure. I think so. I don't think it was in a glitchless run, so it might have had something to do with that. But yeah. Or another runner of this game, Crazy Bad Games, he had a corpse randomly spawn in the battery slot during a run, and he couldn't get the battery in there.
Because it was already in there.
Because it was blocked. I mean, he eventually was able to get it out, but he just sat there for like half a minute trying to move the thing out.
That's so awkward.
Move the thing out of the way. Very sad.
Ooh, this is a weird room.
Oh yeah, so that's Nicole. She's our dead girlfriend from the first game. We see her as hallucinations in this game.
Poor guy.
Almost here.
Yeah,
Hurry.
he'll be okay.
Physics going through that.
Okay, so if you remember the thing we did a little earlier where I hit the elevator from the outside, we're gonna be doing the same thing, except this time it's actually gonna be useful because it's gonna deload this area of the level right here.
Oh, okay.
And so conveniently I can hit a checkpoint from out of bounds there and it puts me on the bottom here.
Oh, okay.
This only saves a few seconds, but it is pretty cool that you can do it.
Yeah.
All right, we're almost at the end of
Seems like
chapter 3 here. What were we saying?
Not the hardest one. Well,
Oh yes, no, that one's not super difficult.
yeah.
There's one later that's a little bit harder. Also, these spawns are a bit random, so you just have to react to what enemies you get. That was actually a pretty good pattern.
Yeah.
Nice. All right, we're heading over to chapter 4. So I think one cool thing to do would be to show some alternate skips that we used to do, like the thing that we did in chapter 3 here. So this whole chapter is basically a circle. And if you go to the left here, you have the end, and you're supposed to go all the way around the right to get there.
Okay.
But what we used to do is you would go here, And again, since it's more of a circular design, they put these locked doors here with fuses on the other side. So the idea being, once you've actually made it to the other side, you can break them, and then it opens the door, and you can backtrack to like a store and a save station over there. You can do upgrades and that kind of thing. But we can actually abuse that in a few ways. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna stick the alt fire of this weapon is a mine that explodes after a certain amount of time. So if I put the mine on the sign here, I can use my body to push it through the wall. And then now that's actually going to break the fuse on the other side.
Break the fuse.
And unlocks the door.
Oh, that's so cool.
And so now you're right at the end of the chapter right here. But there's actually an even faster thing we can do. Because, like I said, we're in chapter 4, but chapter 5 is also part of the same map. Like the game calls them different chapters, but as far as we're concerned, it's the same level.
Yeah.
So what we're gonna do is we're actually gonna go halfway into chapter 4 here and then skip to the end of chapter 5 because it's all still loaded in. But to get there, we got to go this way. Sort of for the most part, the intended path, at least for the first room or two here. And just got to take out these enemies so they don't harass us.
Like normal. Okay.
Okay, so here's where it gets a little bit different. Ooh, and there's actually. Oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, like, it's great because this game is like, okay, one normal bit, enemies. Okay, now we have another glitch coming up. Here's the next thing.
Yeah, that is very true about this game. Okay,
Love
so
it.
normally you're supposed to go into this room, go through there, go all the way around, and then there's a fuse right here. So there's a lot of ways you can break this one. You can do the same trick with the sign. You can actually just straight up shoot the mine through the wall. But the newest and fastest way to do it is just to do something like this with a plasma cutter. And you can break it like that.
Oh. So that can kind of go through the wall on its own.
Yeah. The weird thing is only the right side of this door you're able to shoot through. If you try to shoot through this side, it doesn't work. Which is pretty convenient because the right one's the one we really need anyway. And you can't just shoot through that other one I did before. You have to do the mine, like clip it through the wall. But it just kind of works out here. I laughed so hard when I found this. I couldn't believe that you could just,
Oh, you
do
found this part.
Yeah, I was like, I wonder if you could just do that, and you can. So sometimes things just work out like that.
That's awesome.
Before we get to the main trick, I just remembered there's a really funny thing that can happen here. So you're supposed to come out of this vent, and a cutscene plays where Nicole is you hallucinate that she's trying to stab you with a needle in your eye. But it's not really loaded in properly, so it doesn't really look quite like that. I guess this is what everybody else sees.
You're supposed to like press E to like get past it.
Yeah, your helmet unlocks, and she's trying to stab you, and he's resisting, and then he drops the needle, realizing it's only him holding it. But in this case, it's just nothing happens. But we're not done yet. Okay, I should mention I found this yesterday. By the way, we were just messing around, me and a couple other Dead Space people, and trying to route something for like a category extensions run, something silly, and it didn't work out. And I was like, oh, okay, that didn't work. Let me get out of here. And I turned around and and I saw this. And
oh my gosh,
it's just Nicole T-posing.
That's awful. It's like her character model is just there.
Yeah.
Why is she so small?
I don't know. There's a glitch in Dead Space 3 you can do where Isaac does that and you can still control him. And I had never seen that in this game before until yesterday. But
so weird.
And I think that's supposed to be the needle down there, I think. By her feet.
All right, chat. So we are getting like a first look right now. This is amazing.
Yeah, this is brand new material.
Part of the beauty of the show. You get to see all these things that you don't usually get to see.
All right, so here's where we do this is where the 80% route would take us now.
Okay.
So
all right.
Again, this, like I said, I mentioned I like platformers, and this game is a little bit of that. So we're actually going to be getting on the ceiling here. We can't jump, so what we got to do is we have to take this table. And you can see if I run into it, it doesn't move. But let's say, where's an example? How about this box? So if I run into, can I grab it? There we go. Okay. If I run into this, you can see I can push it. So we call the objects you can't push like this solid objects. And for whatever reason, if you stand on some of them, the game will actually try to push you through the floor I'm not really 100% sure why. I think it might be just it's trying to resolve the collision problem, and for whatever reason it decides down is the way to go instead of up. So coincidentally, we can wall boost on this candle here to get onto the table. And it's a little bit finicky, but hopefully we can get it first try. Very nice.
Oh
Okay.
my gosh.
So now we're outside the level. And coincidentally, there's this collision here that we can wall boost on as well, which we can climb all the way up onto the ceiling. So,
oh my goodness.
So for reference, the end of chapter 4 is over there, but we're gonna go this way. And
We're going into chapter 5.
believe it or not, chapter 5 is right there. You see that save station?
Yes.
That's part of chapter 5, and you can't see it. There's a door over there too. I think the skybox isn't loaded, so that's why you can't see it. But I mentioned earlier I stomped off a ledge and got some speed, so we're gonna do that again here. For some reason, if you space it right and you stomp while you're leaving a ledge, you actually get more speed than just running off, like this.
Oh.
And then if I spam interact, I can open the door right here, and it loads me in, and I'm towards the end of chapter 5 now.
Oh my gosh.
So we play more of chapter 4 than we used to, but we play way less of chapter 5 now. So it kind of works out.
You actually add a little back in chapter 4 to skip a lot of chapter 5. How much time would you say that saved making that change?
This saves around 2 minutes, I think.
Oh, nice.
So
Wow.
It was pretty big. One thing I
that's
should
pretty
mention, by the
significant.
way, that's kind of funny. I don't know if I can show this, but the way we do these, we call these door dives, where you dive to the door and you open it while you're falling. So I have interact bound to the E key on my keyboard, but I also have it bound to scroll up on my mouse. So I actually scroll my mouse like this across my desk, and I mash pause. So it looks something like this when I'm doing it. It looks kind of silly, but you know, if you don't have a free scroll mouse, that's kind of how you got to do it.
Oh, that's funny.
So it looks a little silly, but it gets the job done, you know. And the reason we pause like that too, I should mention, is because if you load something in and you pause the game, it'll keep loading in. So if it doesn't load in fast enough, you can just pause the game, wait for it to load, and then unpause, and then you're in there.
Yeah. It's really helpful to just be able to do that.
Okay. There's another trick I can show you here actually that doesn't really save time, but it is cool that you can do it. I'll see if I can get it. So I bought this javelin gun just so I can one-shot this boss here, but you're not supposed to be able to shoot him before he pulls you. Okay, I missed him. Let me try that again. But if you hit it before it drags you, we call that a zero cycle, because each time it drags you, that's like one cycle. But like I said, you're not normally supposed to be able to hit the enemy there, and this cutscene gets glitched because he didn't pull us at all. Supposed to be
weird.
Supposed to be an enemy there, because what happens is it pulls you, and it hits a load zone that loads those enemies in, which is like right around here. But since I hit him before it dragged me, we haven't hit that yet. And like I said, you have to shoot it pretty late because he becomes vulnerable like right before he drags you. Now, normally once you hit this, that door up there locks, and you got to do this pack fight with all the kids like running at you. But if I hit that, I don't think. Oh, there, I did it. Oh, am I fast enough here? Oh, I got it. Okay. If you do that and you hit that door there, it actually unlocks the door up here for some reason. And then you can just skip fighting all of them and go up there.
You just kind of ignore them.
Yes, this dude's chasing me, but we're just gonna ignore him.
Did only one of them spawn?
When you do this, yeah, because as soon as you open the door, the rest of them don't spawn. What checkpoint does this give me, by the way? Okay. I'll show the fight off too, because it looks really cool when you get it. We sort of have it all mapped out. If you move through the room the right way, you know exactly where they're gonna be, so you can kind of spawn camp them.
Is it like it had babies and they come to attack you?
I don't know, maybe. actually, that actually would make a lot of sense now that I think
They look
about
like babies.
it. They are, yeah.
Oh. No, thank you.
No thanks, yeah. We can snipe that last one as he jumps out of the vent.
Yeah.
All right, so one kind of funny thing about the elevators in this game is it's sort of like, you know, the Willy Wonka movie where he's talking about the elevators moving sideways, diagonally, all that kind of stuff. That's kind of how the elevators work in this game. They don't really go up and down most of the time. Sometimes they do. So here we're gonna get in a cutscene, and our friend Dana here is gonna tell us that we've reached the top of the church, but the place this elevator takes us is actually the lowest point of the entire level.
Oh,
Height-wise, we're actually
weird.
going down here, and forwards. But
Dana, you still with
there's
me?
I
a.
wonder why they mapped it that way.
Reach the top of the tree.
I'm not sure. Maybe it just made more sense, or they just. Yeah, I don't know actually.
Yeah.
Also, I'm gonna shoot this vent out because when we get to the bottom here, it doesn't load in till you kill an enemy that spawns from it. But if you just shoot it, then he doesn't spawn at all, and it just opens instantly. It kind of skips that jump scare. Oh yeah, so I'll pick this up anyway, but there was a skip found last night. I found it, well, me and Looney were looking for it. We found it last night in the next chapter, and it actually completely routes out the weapon that I just picked up the schematic for. So I'll grab it anyway,
wow.
just in case I want it. But yeah, I just realized, yeah, I don't need that anymore, actually.
You're a unitologist.
All right. We got a little bit of a cutscene here. I don't know if you have any other questions or anything else you want to mention. Or I could talk about something else here too. But this is a good time if you have anything you
Everyone just leave me alone, huh?
want to ask.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't seen too many questions in chat. People are good at kind of like keeping up or answering each other, which is really awesome. It's just interesting, like, so, okay, first of all, I saw unitologist in the text. Can you tell me a little bit about what that means? Like, plot-wise, I'm kind of interested in what's going on.
Oh yes. Okay, so we've just been betrayed here. I lied when I said she was our friend. So
Okay.
in the first, she's sort of the first act twist villain. The unitologists are a cult that worships this alien artifact called the Marker, and that's what creates all these enemies, these necromorphs. And so
yeah, okay.
they think it's a divine object, and they worship it, and they want to create necromorphs because they think it's some sort of afterlife and this sort of thing. Anyone can check. Feel free to correct me. I'm not an expert on the lore.
Do they also, like,
But-
want to turn into them, or what?
I believe so. Yeah, there's a guy in the first game that purposely turns himself into a necromorph. Or that's sort of the whole thing in the third game too, the rebirth and all that stuff. Oh, but also I should mention that the people running this facility, EarthGov, the government, they don't like the unitologists, and that's why they just killed them right here.
How are they not hitting you?
That is a good question. I get that question a lot when I play this part. They hit Dana instantly, and they don't hit you for
Yeah.
like 30 seconds. I don't really get it. But
Impressive. Ouch.
yeah, so we fall down here, and we're safe until we're not actually. This is called
Right,
the
of
Tormentor.
course. Another boss.
Yeah. Unfortunately, it's mostly an auto scroller. it's really just like hit the yellow spot 4 times, but it does look pretty cool.
Gotcha.
So this is phase 1 of the fight here, but we're actually going to be doing another trick right after this called Tormentor Phase 2 Skip, where normally
perfect.
we're supposed to be watching a cutscene where we get pulled out into space, and it's this whole cool cinematic thing where we gotta shoot this explosive canister, and then we fly through the air and we hit the next level. But it turns out the canister is already on the side of the ship at the start of the cutscene, and if you shoot it, it just completely skips it and takes you to the next level right away.
Is it just like deload it, like it's not visible, or what?
It's as soon as I missed it actually, so I gotta do it again. Okay, well you see.
Oh, like it comes in.
Yeah, so the
Oh.
ship flies in, and you can kind of see behind the pause screen. There's some canisters there. So
Okay.
you shoot those after the cutscene ends, and then that teleports you to the next level, chapter 6. But they're already there during the cutscene. So if you line up a shot and then walk into the cutscene, it'll hit the ship, like snipe it, like right as it comes into frame. This was found by accident, and I freaked out when this was found. I just could not believe this has worked.
How
So
recently was
stupid.
this?
It was sometime last year. I can't remember exactly, but it's been a while now, actually. Oh, and there we
Oh
go.
wow,
We got
yeah,
it.
you got it. There it is. So this is chapter 6 then.
Yes.
Awesome.
This also locks our camera until we move it again, so we can do some kind of funny things and run around here.
Oh, there you go.
I can kind of get him camera clipped into our character here.
Oh no. Your
You-
beautiful, totally normal spacesuit.
Yes.
Strauss.
We can also continue from here with the camera lock, but that doesn't actually do anything for us. And part of the reason I was messing around there too is because, again, this is our friend Strauss. He was another patient in this marker program that Isaac was a part of. That's why the government wants to kill us, because we can destroy the marker, which is sort of what Strauss is saying right now. So now what we're trying to do is meet up with him, because he is saying that he knows how to destroy the marker, which would end the whole necromorph outbreak.
Why does the government not want the marker to be destroyed?
They want to use its unlimited. They want it has potential for unlimited power and energy, and they want to harness that.
Oh, energy I get. Power not so good. That's pretty corrupty.
Yeah, so they don't want to. Yeah, they don't want. You know, they don't want us to destroy it. So I made a save there because this is the room where the new skip is. But I want to really quick show everyone the old route that we used to do up until now. So
All right, here we go.
Okay, so this may look a little familiar. This map is actually very similar to the one in chapter 3 from earlier. And so because of that, this same elevator trick works, but it saves like half a minute here instead of 3 seconds. Because again, Strauss is talking to us, very common theme for this level. He's talking to us and it won't let us out of the elevator until he's done talking. But what if we didn't need to do that, right? So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna turn on 19 FPS here because otherwise, I won't be able to fall down before the level loads back in. So I call this to deload the level, which I fall, and then I pause the game. I actually messed that up. Let's do it again. I paused a little too early.
Okay. Oh wait. Okay. So you're lowering the FPS, and you'll then start falling through the level, and then you raise the FPS to fall back in.
Yes. So basically, you unload the level, and then after a little bit of time, it loads it back in. And if you make the load slow enough, you'll be in the first floor instead of the second floor. The reason I'm lowering the FPS is because the load times in the game are tied to your hardware, like whatever's in your PC, and then also your FPS, which is another reason we allow the FPS toggling. Because for example, let's say your computer loads it a little slower, you might be able to just turn VSync on, which locks your game at 30 FPS, and that works perfectly. But say for me, if I do that, it loads in too fast, and what just happened to me there happened. Not exactly that way because I messed it up, but like that is what would happen if I tried to do that at 30. But if I do it at 19, for me that works. So some people have to kind of figure out which one works for. There's like 1 or 2 tricks like this in the game. You just kind of find an FPS value that works for your PC. And there we go. Okay, now we're on the bottom.
There you go. Okay.
And then we would go through here. This enemy comes out, we would kill, and we'd go buy the detonator. But like I said, there's a new skip found last night that I will try to demonstrate here. I'm really excited to add this into any % runs in the future because we haven't. Yeah. This is the first like major time save we found this year so far. It's been a little. We've been through a little bit of a a slow period of discovery, so it's pretty cool. So we're gonna do a deload again, and I should actually show what this looks like before I do it because once it's all deloaded, it's kind of just looks like we're running around in the dark.
Okay.
So
yeah, that'll be good.
So I'm gonna unload the level, which again lets me walk through some locked doors. And then I'm gonna head over here to this locked door, which is not gonna have any collision anymore. And then part of the level is gonna be still loaded there. And we're gonna do a damage boost to land on top of the level and get to a checkpoint. And the reason why we haven't skipped this before is even if I were able to jump down there, for whatever reason, if you don't load it properly, it just puts up a bunch of invisible walls and prevents you from progressing.
So would that be like a soft lock or?
Yeah, we would get soft locked down there. But then it looked even more unlikely because even if you get down in the level past the invisible wall, the door doesn't lock until you finish the auto scroller. So it just sort of seemed like it wasn't going to happen. But I don't know. We sat down yesterday looking at chapter 6 and and made something happen. So
I can't believe some of this was yesterday. It's awesome.
Yeah, I can't believe it either.
Yeah.
So what I'm gonna do is it might take me a few tries to get this, but I'm going to open these doors in a very specific order to get the game to try to force this door to close because I think the devs knew that you could deload levels because if you look at this door forces itself to close before I get back to it because it knows that if that door closes, I'm gonna be able to unload that area. So it says, no, you're not allowed to go through here. It's weird that it doesn't do that everywhere. A lot of places it just lets you do it, but in some places I guess they knew and they said, okay, if this door's open, this door can't open until that one closes because it'll unload. But if we open the doors in this particular order with the right timing, we can trick the game into letting us through there. That might have worked. Okay, that was almost it.
Okay.
So I just missed the second to last door there. I gotta hit this one as soon as it goes there. I might have gotten that time. Oh, we got it that time. Okay. So I gotta pause because I fall for a second, but then I get loaded back in.
Oh, weird. Okay.
So like I said, that's why I showed where we were gonna
What you
be,
did
because
before.
it kind of just looks like we're, you know, running around. But that, if you see that thing on the floor there, that's where the door was. Fortunately,
Oh, weird.
we
Okay.
can we
Now
can
we're
open
just
that
in
door, and now we got more stuff loaded in.
space. Okay, great.
So sometimes you open doors that aren't even related to the thing you're trying to get to because it happens to load something else in. So
Right.
now,
Really interesting.
now we're gonna do a damage boost to get up there. We haven't talked about this yet, but the game has 2 aiming modes. So it's center by default, but we're gonna turn it to classic, like the Dead Space 1 style. And the cool
Okay,
part about
sure.
this for glitch hunting and out of bounds and stuff is that the beams stop when they hit collision. So you can actually see where the floor is, where the floor ends, you know, what's solid and whatnot. So it's really good.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
So it's really good for knowing, okay, I'm about to fall off a ledge, or even just glitch hunting, like, okay, is this solid? No, it's not. Is this solid? Yeah, it is, you know, etc.
Because you've like deloaded spaces and you need to know where stuff actually
Yeah.
to be.
All right, so now I'll see if I can actually get this first try. So I'm basically lining up on the ledge here to get as close as I can. And fortunately, you can see there's like nothing to line up with here besides the skybox, except this schematic is here. So we were trying a bunch of memes where we would line it up with, you know, parts of the word, say, oh, it's gonna be seek skip or seeky skip or, you know, whatever. But it turns out it's S is for skip, is what is the meme we've been going with, because we line up with the S here. And then I'm gonna aim at a texture over here, and if I did all that right, hopefully I land over here. Nice.
Oh, whoa.
It
Okay.
might not look like it, but it is actually like that setup is really good. I'm glad we found it, because most of the time, if you don't have a good setup, you just bounce right off.
So did you like damage boost yourself over?
Oh yes, I didn't mention that either. Yeah, so
Yes.
if you stomp off a ledge, you get a little bit more speed than running off.
Right.
But if you use a timed mine from the line gun to damage boost, you get exactly twice your running speed off the ledge. So
Oh, that's cool.
So using the explosives, we can do a damage boost to get a bit more, bit of a jump. You know, again, it's a bit of a platformer, even though I don't think it was designed to be. All right, now I just have to not miss this checkpoint here, hopefully. That looked pretty good. And now we should be back in bounds. So that whole thing, including, you know, maybe skipping, picking up that schematic in the last level, all that stuff, all of this should save about like 25 seconds, which is which is really nice, because, you know, we've been trying to grind it down without a lot of new time save recently. So having that's gonna be really nice.
So having anything new is pretty cool.
Yeah, so now I don't have the detonator. This is gonna feel really weird because I'm very used to having that at this point. Okay, there we go.
Oh, don't you technically picked it up, but you're not supposed to have it anymore.
Yeah. Oh, so I picked up the weapon schematic for it, which what that does is the next time you go to a store, it lets you buy it. Because usually if you wait long enough, it'll eventually. So say like, you know, if I don't get it now, by the time I get to, you know, chapter 7 or 8, then I can buy it. But if I pick up the schematic first, I can buy it as soon as I want. So we used to pick it up there and buy it at that store back there, but we skipped it, so now we can't, you know, can't go back for it. But we have backups for, you know, not having it anymore.
Gotcha.
There's a bit of a meme here. This actually loses 10 seconds, but it's kind of funny. So I'll show it off real quick while we're here. So this is called battery skip, and you're supposed to pull out those 3 batteries, and then that makes the fire disappear. But you can clip out of bounds with another wiggle clip against the floor. And I forget the exact spot. I'll see if I can get it, but you can actually do a little sideways clip back inbounds here. Let's see, just gotta kind of find the right spot here.
Okay.
As you can see, this is not very fast. Pulling out the batteries is actually very quick, which is why we don't do this. Oh wait.
Oh, so you don't usually do this in runs, gotcha.
Oh no, this is we were really excited when this was found, and then we timed it, and it loses 10 seconds, even if you get it fast. And we were like, okay, well.
It loses time. Oh my god. Okay. Well,
Yeah.
then never mind.
We're in. Okay.
Cool. Just cool to show off on the side.
Yeah. Oh. Ow.
Okay.
Okay. So then you pull a battery out like that. You still need one to do this little, not like puzzle, but start this elevator here.
Okay.
So yeah, because otherwise you just run through and pull all 3 batteries out. It's actually very fast.
Huh.
But it is cool that you can get out of, like I said, you can get out of bounds in pretty much any 0G area.
Yeah, it's really cool to see that. You're like, and we're gonna go over here and wiggle, and suddenly.
Yeah. Some places it's really easy, some places it's not.
He can't hurt you.
Oh yeah, at high
Seems like
FPS, the character models kind of freak out with the ragdoll physics.
Oh no.
See, if I go to like 19, he'll probably stop. Yes, he stops, and then if I turn it back up, he freaks out.
Oh, interesting. Okay, so what do you typically run the game at? 120?
Some people do it uncapped. I cap it at around 350. I don't usually get that in most places, but that's because at around 400 or plus FPS, you start to get these things called stutter steps, where your walking animation randomly resets, which loses time.
Oh.
So it doesn't really matter. It's actually really easy to get high FPS in this game. I actually used to, I think I have it in this room somewhere, but I have a 2015 MacBook I used to run this game on, and I still was getting 200 plus FPS.
Still, wow.
Yeah, so
Okay.
some of those 0G clips you need around like 180, 200 sometimes, but it's pretty easy to get to 300 on most machines.
It's interesting how like you really need that high FPS for certain clips and then really low for others, like depending on what how like the game wants to load for you or move for you.
Yeah, the physics in this game are really interesting. We used to think it was always, oh, you only need high FPS, but yeah, some places the low is good.
Yeah.
So here I would normally put a detonator mine down with that gun. Actually, that didn't kill him. I think it did. We'll see. So this is slightly new. Oh, he's gonna hit me. Okay, I gotta tell you to reload this.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
So,
did you like hear him approaching? How did you know?
oh yes, there's a sound cue when he charges. So okay, the way this room works is there's a hack panel at the end that unlocks the door. And normally what you're supposed to do, and I think they wanted you to use the detonator because they actually give you some detonator ammo in this room, and that's what I did casually, because you can lay traps that are explosives, and they shoot out these lasers, and then when you run into the lasers, it blows them up. So what we would do is instead of killing all the enemies, we would just place a trap, and then if you get unlucky and one of them charges you while you're doing the puzzle, then he just blows up, and then you can continue. Because if he hits you, it interrupts the animation, and then you have to do the whole thing over again. But when we found that skip yesterday, we were thinking, okay, well, how are we gonna do this room now? Are you just gonna have to get lucky? And it turns out if you shoot a mine here, I think I was just too slow last time. That should kill him. Okay, I heard him die there.
Oh, that's good. I'm glad that you have like the cues can go off of that way. They're like, oh, he's dead, or oh, he's coming after me.
Oh yeah, see, that's the sound of him chasing me there.
Oh.
Isaac, he's gone. Listen, the steps can destroy.
But yeah, if you go fast there and just shoot the line gun mine instead, it seems to work pretty well.
Step 2, the
That's
screws
good.
go
And then,
Yeah.
or like, how long would you say it takes to practice getting the like the cabling that you just did? Are you doing that like wiring stuff? You say you just have to do it like it's RNG, so you do it randomly. Like, what would you say is kind of your process for?
Yeah, so I actually get that question sometimes because I don't really think about it. Some people say, how do you do the hacks, so quickly? And honestly, it's just a lot of practice. I mean, well, first of all, there's only 8 directions. So what I do is I usually pick one of the, I just pick a direction, like bottom left or something. And then I just check that. Because then if you get lucky, then you can just immediately click it. You just kind of get used to the visual cue of the blue light showing up. So sometimes you can even get it before it even fully fades in because you just start to see the blue flash and you're like, okay, it's bottom left or top right, and then you can just flick your mouse and click it.
Oh, so that sounds like it's almost instinctual at this point.
It's very there's no real pattern to it, so you just have to react to it.
Right.
I'm trying to get to the transport hub.
Oh, one other little thing I'll do is, on the off chance that it's in the same spot, which it can even be 3 times in a row in the same spot, I'll usually, whatever spot it was, I'll usually check that first, because if it ends up being the same spot, you don't have to go all the way around the circle to like find it again.
Agree?
So that way you don't actually end up losing time if you get like 3 in a row.
Oh, okay, cool.
Just a liability.
But other than that, yeah, you just kind of you just do it a lot.
Yeah, you just
Eventually
do it, right,
you just get faster at it. Yeah.
It really, it really is just practice and repetition, and that's most things in speedrunning anyway. It's like you just get used to it. Like you just get accustomed to this. Like you just feel it out, or there's some things that you have very specific setups for. But it seems like a lot of this game, in the way of you're like, yeah, there's timing for this, but like you get used to the feel of being in this correct direction, or how you wiggle through this wall when you're in 0G, or different mechanics. It seems like a lot of that is kind of based on your intuition with that.
Yeah.
Instead of just, you have to be at this exact coordinate, and move in this exact direction,
Yeah, exactly. And there's a lot of like you saw the damage boost I did earlier. There's a lot of very setup based tricks But yeah, there are some things like that, like the wiggle clips and things like that, where you kind of just get a feel for it, how it works. Like with the wiggle clips, you have to do a certain rhythm, and you can't pull the mouse up too much, because if you do that, it'll push you away from the wall. And each one is a little bit different. So, you know, sometimes it's, oh, this one's really easy, or this one you have to be kind of particular with the motion, but it's not too bad, honestly. You get pretty used to it.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, also, speaking of story stuff, I was going to say before I go down this elevator, we just met another character named Ellie here. She's one of the other survivors. She doesn't really trust us at the beginning because apparently somebody else attacked her earlier or something, as she said. So she says not to follow us, so immediately go the same direction that she went.
Yeah.
Of course.
It's always the case in games like this.
So we'll see her again later. But right here, I'm gonna run through this room while looking down, because looking at enemies makes them more likely to aggro you. So I have a higher chance of not taking damage here if I look down. We actually got a pretty good pattern there. Nice.
Oh, wow. Yeah, you're totally clear.
And now there's an enemy that can follow me here. Yeah, this guy. Wait, did that? Wait a minute.
The door just
I don't know if I'm crazy or... Wait, hold on. I don't know if I can get them to hold this open again. Wait, you stay there. Oh, wait. Yeah, it did. I actually did not know you could do that. I got a deload here actually just now. Interesting. So apparently, that's a common thing. Like I said earlier, you can have enemies hold doors open, but sometimes instead of opening a door, you hit a load zone. So I guess there's a load zone over there, because I had them holding it open. Because usually I don't turn around to look at him. I usually just run and hope he doesn't snipe me.
You didn't notice. Huh.
I didn't know, because I ran here and I saw it deloaded like that. So
what,
actually,
what could you maybe do with that? Do you know?
I don't know if that would be useful, because we get a deload in one of the next few rooms here, but potentially you could use that to get out of bounds, or maybe skip having to open some of these doors.
Huh.
So I'm gonna go look at that later. Finding all kinds of stuff the past few days, huh?
I know, right? Hey, you know what? And I love hearing, was that a that's never happened before situation?
For me, definitely, yeah. I don't know if anybody else has seen that before, but I had not.
Awesome. Okay, cool. So we hit the name of the show. Very exciting.
Yeah. So hey,
cool.
that's pretty cool.
Yeah, you'll have to follow up and like let us know what might come of that in the future.
Yeah, I will. Yeah, because we do a deload here, but I mean, who knows? That could be faster. I don't know. Yeah. Cool. Well, anyway, so we're gonna do another deload here. This one is actually really easy. All I'm gonna do is open this door, and then open this door. And if I open this second door while the first one is still open, it's deloaded. Easy as that. Oh, you know what? I should actually. There is a cool way to do this skip here actually. Let me see if I can still do this.
Okay.
This will actually be good because I just skipped that cutscene. Or not skipped it, but I watched it already, so I don't have to watch it again. So there's two ways to skip this room. The gym. So normally you got to go over there on the stage, do a hack panel. You get jump scared by a cardboard sun. It's a good time. You do a hack panel. You do an auto scroller fight, and then the curtain opens. But okay. This is pretty rare in this game. I actually don't know of any other cases where this happens, but there's a debug trigger on the air here that opens the curtain and lets you pass immediately. So coincidentally, we can get a wall boost on these stack of chairs here by running into them at a certain angle. And oh, there we go. Sometimes running sideways or backwards makes them easier. But yeah, there you go. You see the curtain opening, these things closing. And you can just run straight through. And this saves about 2 minutes from having to do the auto scroller.
Whoa, like just from doing the wall run. Yeah,
because normally you have to walk all the way around the left, then go up there, do the hack, then you got to fight all the enemies, then wait a bit, then the curtain opens. But no, you just hit that and then it just ends for some reason.
That's awesome.
But I'm going to go back here and show the way we do it now, because it's unfortunately a little bit faster. I think that other version is cooler.
It's cooler, right?
But hey, you know, if you got to do what's fast, if you're trying to save time, so.
That's what it's all about.
Yeah.
We're showing things slowly to show you how they work quickly.
Oh, yes. And you'll see that later. There are some things in this game that look very slow, but are actually incredibly fast. But we'll get to that in a bit. So, again, I opened the first door, and as long as I open this one before the first one's closed, it will unload the area here. And then we can just run through here. there's a door to the like next to these lockers to the left, so I can just run through here, and you'll see some things loading in. We're just basically running through this hallway here, and we can just kind of skip some other doors. We have to load this in though because we need this door to close and this room to be loaded. Because once Nicole finishes having a nice little chat with us, we're gonna unlock the elevator. And as is tradition in Dead Space 2 runs, we try to put Nicole in timeout while we wait.
Oh, so you're trying to
Oh, I got it. Nice. Oh, okay. You try to balance on our head. Sometimes you can get it to stay for a while.
so close. So close. Amazing.
Oh, kinda. You know, we kinda got it. But yeah, you can. I've gotten some where it stays on her head like the whole time, and then even after she despawns, it falls down and then still stays upright.
It still's there. Oh, that's cool.
Which is pretty cool. You don't get that very often though. It's kind of hard.
I like how
yeah,
like it's your moment to goof off in the middle. Oh, I see
Yeah.
the timeout chair. Oh,
I found someone.
Yeah.
awesome.
I said,
Yeah.
There is a question for you. Do you prefer
sure.
Dead Space 1 or 2? Like this one, but
Do I prefer Dead Space 1 or 2? If you made me choose, I would pick this game, but I'm a little bit biased because I run this
Right.
game the most, and it's the one I played the most casually. But Dead Space 1 is also very fun. But yes, if you made me choose, I would probably pick this one. But I like them both.
Anything stupid. Anything. I will shoot him.
We can get some more story here. That guy Strauss that we were trying to meet up with to help us destroy the marker actually ran into Ellie, which was the woman we met before, and so we agreed to meet her in the transport hub up here and try to get to the government sector because that's where the marker is.
she's the one who said not to follow her.
Yes.
Okay, great.
So she eventually becomes good friends with us as we go through the game.
Right.
Obviously, she doesn't trust us at first, but we end up working together with her. So there is a skip in this in this room, and it used to be a lot easier when we had stasis, but unfortunately, we don't have that anymore.
So then
So
what's
we
your
can still
workaround?
we can still do it because we have a stasis canister here, which is an
Oh.
object when you blow it up, either by throwing it, shooting it, hitting it, it will explode, and if you're within the radius of it, it'll, well, not you, but if any objects are enemies, it will slow them down. So there's going to be an enemy called a brute here, which is supposed to be a bit of a mini boss. We'll see more of him later, but here it's essentially a boss. The old way was you would stasis him to slow him down, and you'd use his collision to push you through this door, because there's dialogue here. This is the leader of the government, the EarthGov station, Titan station, Tideman. He's the one who wants to kill us, so we don't destroy the marker.
Exactly.
So,
Okay.
so he cuts off life support here. This brute comes in, we kill him, and then we have this like 1 minute conversation with Ellie about going up to the solar array to restore the power and all this stuff. But if we clip to the door, we don't have to do any of that. Now, this is a bit random. There is a chance this just won't work. But usually we can back it up if it doesn't work first try.
What's
If
like
he
the
clips me,
percentage chance for this working or not?
I want to say 50-50, but it doesn't feel like that sometimes, because you'll get it like 10 times in a row, and then sometimes you'll not get it 10 times in a row, so it's a bit weird.
Weird. Okay. Gotcha.
Oh, we got it first try. Okay.
Oh, perfect.
Okay, cool. Sweet. Okay. So the reason it's random is because if he punched me with the right arm, which he did, you clip. If he punches you with the left arm, you don't. And you can manipulate him into punching you over and over again, but he can clip you through the floor and you'll die. He can just kill you because he takes too long to punch you through. A bunch of things can happen. This only works if you do it on the first way through. If I have to reload the checkpoint, then this part isn't loaded here. And even if I clip, I just fall out of bounds.
So what's like a backup if you don't get it?
So if you, I wonder if you can still see him from here. If you run at him, you can manipulate his AI. So if you get really close to him, he tries to punch you. But then if you dodge the punch, he'll walk up to you and try to punch you again. So
Okay.
you get him to swing and miss, and then you just run back to the door. And I don't think swinging the camera really matters. I've tried lots of things to make this more consistent. It's just really bad. Someone
For sure.
needs to help me fix this. But yeah. Anyway, so we clip through there. There's a deloaded area here. I can't open this door, So just so you can see, I'll show you what it looks like deloaded just for fun, but that's the area we're going to be running through here.
Okay.
I need to, oh, these are detonator mines, by the way. That gun I didn't get, that's what it looks like when you place them on the ground.
Oh, so are those like pre-placed for certain reasons, or is it just the way that they're like loaded off?
Oh yeah, it's an obstacle in the game they try to kill you with.
Oh, you don't have to worry about that.
Yeah, so I took him out with the javelin here, the javelin gun, because the alt fire is this electric shock. Again, we would use the detonator to kill him in one shot, but this is still pretty fast.
Yeah, we don't have that anymore.
One little quick, I don't even know if this is like really a glitch, but it is a cool piece of tech with the gun. If I hold the button down, it does this, and it keeps shocking the enemies as long as you hold it down. But you can actually cancel that by letting it go, but it still does the same amount of damage. So
Weird.
if you want to kill an enemy really fast, you can hit them and then quickly alt fire and then cancel it, and it still kills them in one hit. So you can then switch weapons faster, or
Yeah, because it's
shoot
doing
again.
that like super shock damage, but just without holding it.
Yeah, so I could do this and then switch weapons and then shoot like that,
Huh.
instead of having to like do this and then shoot again.
You can do it as many
That's
times
pretty
as you
cool.
want because you have infinite ammo.
Exactly. All right, so now we're gonna take this elevator, which is gonna load in chapter 7. And as soon as this text comes up on the screen, we can actually checkpoint restart, and it skips a little cutscene there, which is neat. All right, so this is chapter 7, and this is one of the biggest skips in the entire game, actually. And fun story about this, people were trying to find this for years, and shout outs to Crazy Bad Games for finding this, but this was found right after I joined in May 2020. That's when I started running this game, and I had just started learning how to actually do the route for chapter 7 back then. And then I just see he posts in Discord all caps, I found chapter 7 skip. We did it.
Oh, fun. So it was like perfect timing for you, actually.
Yeah, so then I was like, okay, I guess I have to learn this now.
Yeah.
But yeah, it saves about, oh man, I think it saves 9 minutes.
Oh my
7 to 9 minutes. Well,
gosh.
it depends on, well, we have more skips in chapter 7 now, but I guess as opposed to like glitchless, it'd be like 7 to 9 minutes, depending on how you count it. So that's pretty gross. But so
Okay.
So one little other quick thing about Zero G here. So this is the regular launch animation. So you can see kind of how long that takes. There's a thing called a launch cancel or a quick launch.
Yeah.
So while you're running, if you aim and then launch, you get this animation instead, which is a little bit faster. So
Wow. Oh.
as far as chapter 7 skip goes, you're supposed to go down there and fix the elevator, take it up, go fix the power, do this epic flight sequence back down. We're actually not going to do any of that.
Are you also supposed to have, like, anytime you're in 0G, are you supposed to have limited oxygen?
Not in these areas. There are some, basically it's whenever there's whatever the game considers to be a vacuum. So you can have a vacuum not in 0G or also in 0G. So it kind of just depends. Like there's a place later in this level when you're in 0G and you don't have oxygen. But in this case, we're actually fine.
Gotcha. Okay.
Okay, so we're actually going to clip out. And we didn't hear it since we were going a little bit slower here. But normally right about now, Isaac says something along the lines of, I'm heading outside to take a look. As in, to go fix that elevator, but we're actually heading out.
You literally go outside.
To just completely skip this, so it's kind of funny how that works out.
Seemed like that clip right there was one of the easier ones, or does it just appear that way?
That one's not too difficult. It's a little difficult when you first try it, I think. I found some newer players have trouble with it at first, but it's honestly not too bad. So
Looks like you can. Is it just how the camera moves, or are you able to go between like first and third person? Because it looks like it's switching.
Oh, so okay, so what that is the zero G box is like a big. Well, how zero G works is it's a big bounding box. I don't know if it's usually like always like rectangular. It can be kind of like weird shapes, but if you fly out of it, you'll fall infinitely, which is cool because that's actually really nice because, like I said, if you fall too long, normally you die. And we would fall from this jump we're about to make if that were the case, but fortunately we won't. But if you go to the top of a zero G area, you can't keep flying forward, so it just reorients you like that, and you can kind of get like stuck if I try to like fly up here. Like, I can't move.
Oh, gotcha. I see.
Oh, okay, I need to get back down. Okay, yeah. All right. So what we're doing here is I've flown all the way to the top of the 0G, and I'm going to try to set this up to hopefully get this first try. That looks pretty good. So I'm going to fly back until it kicks me forward, and then I'm going to fly forward. And if I line this up properly, I'm going to hit a checkpoint all the way at the end of the level by falling down here. So I fall past a certain star here.
Which direction you're going in? Very specific, or?
Yes, there's a bit of a, we're pretty much going straight at the checkpoint. So if you look at like your coordinates, your X coordinate is going left to right. Oh, I missed it. Okay, it's okay. Well, okay, that's okay. We'll do it again. We'll do it a little bit faster this time.
Yeah, we'll be able to like see it more in real time.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
Well, we'll get to hear Isaac make his comment about going outside, I guess, this time.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Yeah. So this is more how you would see it done in a run. A little quick launch. Oh, I missed the launch cancel. Never mind. Okay.
It looks like the docking pod that runs to the solar
Yeah,
array
that
is floating
looks
in
like
the
it was going
bottom
back
of
and
the
forth.
shaft.
I see. It's just like how the camera's
I know
moving
where.
around.
I
Yeah.
can fix this. I'm heading outside to have a look.
You are heading outside.
Game really wants me to use thrust canisters to shoot the red tips to move objects. Unfortunately, we're not going to do that for the entire game, actually. So,
Yeah.
any thrust canister fans, I'm sorry.
That's not how speedrunning works. You know, it's not about doing intended. This is not about intention.
Yeah.
True intention of the game.
Yeah, and like I said, there's lots of other categories for this game too. You know, we got glitchless, no out of bounds, no deloads, new game plus.
How long is a glitchless run typically?
It's right around the 2-hour mark. So it's about an hour.
That's still not that bad.
It's not too bad. It's about an hour slower than the any percent run.
Right. Well, even like a couple years ago, any percent was close to 2 hours. So has the glitchless run improved a lot? Or were there just not that many glitches?
It has.
Fine.
Yeah. Well, so there's a few tricks that I will say one quick thing about that. Actually, we gotta wait for a little bit of an auto scroller here. So I'm actually gonna explain this first, and then I'll
Sure.
talk a little bit about that. Just to, yeah. Okay. So normally there's a trigger here that locks this door and starts an auto scroller. Well, actually, I should say there's two. We can hit the one that starts the auto scroller, but also skip the one that locks us in by taking a particular path here, by staying close to that wall. So when we hear Ellie talk, that means the auto scroller starts. Because when she's done talking, there's a door that unlocks that lets us progress. The cool thing about that is we can do some shopping while she's talking.
Because it doesn't matter.
So we're gonna sell all of our ammo. We're gonna say bye to the javelin gun. We don't need that anymore. And I'm gonna fill up on med packs. Because again, I don't need stasis packs and I can't use ammo. So I'm just gonna completely fill up on health here. Just so we have plenty of that for the rest of the run. But
Are there points where you get like intentionally hit at all or like anything like that?
yeah, we're gonna do a few more of those damage boosts with the line gun. So we do need a little bit of health to recover from those too. Yeah.
That makes sense.
But so to answer your question about the glitchless thing, the way we have the glitchless rules set up is maybe a little different than some other games do. It's like kind of closer to no major glitches, like not quite, but it's a little more in that direction than pure, you know, I guess the opposite side of the spectrum would be like more of a casual playthrough but fast kind of thing, because people do their own rules for glitchless and stuff, whatever people want to do. But so there's a few tricks we actually can do that don't actually involve like doing any glitches but still skip stuff.
Okay.
So there's a few little time saves, but for the most part, it's just gotten a lot faster.
Cool.
The New Game Plus glitchless record is a 1:59:38 actually. So New Game, I don't think could go under 2 hours unless we found something crazy for glitchless, but I don't know if that's gonna happen. But
for sure.
but for New Game Plus, I did grind it out because it was so close to 2 hours that I figured, might as well try to go for it. Which is funny
Do you have
because
the current record or?
yeah, I do.
Plus?
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
Okay. That's what I thought. I saw a bunch of those with your name on it. So.
Yeah, my New Game Plus, if you ever wanted to see a glitchless run of this game, definitely go watch that New Game Plus one. My New Game one is okay, but that one is like actually pretty good because I actually put some time into it. New Game I didn't really. I was like, I'll do a few runs, but
Right.
yeah, it's funny because the any percent record used to be a 158, and now New Game Plus glitchless is 159. But I should throw in a caveat that once we removed the intro cutscene, we also changed the timing to start when you gain control of the character. So really, if you take that time out, the run really would have been like a 154 or 53. But
Oh, okay.
But still, you know, it's the fact that it's sub 2 hours is still pretty crazy.
Yeah, seriously. Really good.
One big
Oh yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and turn on classic game here
circle today.
for a trick
It's
coming
so
up.
funny, like the amount of enemies you can actually just run
Let's
past
figure out how to
and
meet up.
turn around,
Oh,
and that just saves you so
that's-
much time to begin with.
That is very true. That's something when I'm like when I verify glitchless runs for this game too, I notice is, you know, you actually can save a lot of time just by running past a lot of enemies, or like knowing like which enemies you have to shoot, or oh, I can take just the leg off this guy and then run past him, and or I gotta stasis
Right.
this one and that kind of thing.
To know like which holes enemies are going to come out of, so you can just shoot in advance and like know that they're coming out.
Yeah, that's one of the things I like about doing glitchless runs. This sometimes you get some different ways to take out some of these rooms.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm gonna go ahead and make a save here in case I want it later. But I do have a separate save that I could maybe show off, because this chapter has had like 4 or 5 different major skips in it. I don't know if I'll show off all of them later because a lot of them are pretty similar, but maybe later I can come back and show some of those.
Yeah, that sounds like
But
fun.
speaking of taking out enemies, by the way, I put a mine there to kill some enemies because otherwise they'll hold the door open down there, which makes this door open really slow. But if I put that mine in a certain spot, it'll open this fast. So we call that fast door because, again, we're really good at coming up with names for tricks.
Fast door. Oh, wiggle.
Yeah. Okay, so I'll wait for the lights to come back on here. So, kind of like the skip in the gym, we're gonna unload the level by opening one door, then a second one, and then going back to the first one. So it's
Okay.
gonna
Yeah.
look like this. And as you can see, I'm aiming out into the abyss here.
Huh?
But then when that door closes, it loads this back in. So I can actually step into this unloaded area. But then when the game, you know, closes the door, like I said, when doors close in the game, it also unloads things. So the game says, okay, you're on this side of the room, so I'm gonna deload that room because you're not supposed to be in there anymore.
Okay.
But now we can just run through it. And I'm going to open this door here, because if you can see those lights over there, that loads in a room over there, which I need to be loaded to actually get over here.
Like,
So,
yeah.
so it might be a little harder to explain if you can't see the room, but again, I'll be back here later as well. But this space right here, there's actually a locked door that you're never intended to walk through at all. But
Oh, one of these you were talking about.
But we
Okay.
can, and we just did. Like I said, you can't see it, but there is this, where this door frame is, there is a locked door, but we just run straight through it.
So when it's loaded in, normally it's just something that you pass by because you can't go in. But right now,
It's essentially
Yeah.
an invisible wall normally, but it still functions like a regular door when we unload it, and it just disappears.
so interesting. Okay.
But so right here, again, it's kind of hard to see, but there's another door that's here, and if I open it, it'll play a cutscene, so I'm not going to do that. But the level isn't loaded here, and if you remember how I said that chapters 4 and 5 were basically one big map, well, chapters 8 and 9 are actually the same thing. It's really just one level, but the game calls it 2 different chapters. So chapter 9 is down there. It's actually below us, which is really nice because, you know, even though I was joking about this being a platformer, gaining height is usually kind of difficult, but falling is really easy.
Really easy, yeah.
So what I'm gonna do is set up another damage boost with the line gun. And I mentioned earlier, again, sometimes with certain tricks, you know, things will load in too fast. So once I get damage boosted here, I'm gonna go to 19 FPS again, just so it doesn't load in too fast. And here we are. We're on the outside of the level here.
Okay, so you fall outside of it instead of just below it.
Yeah, so normally you're supposed to go do a bunch of stuff in chapter 9, get a tram, you come all the way down, and you get off right
Sure.
there, and then you progress through the level. Well, we're actually on the outside of it.
Are we gonna walk to the end of it?
We're actually going to run over here and hit another checkpoint down there. But I wanted to mention a funny thing about this room. Sometimes we call this the pinball machine because there was an old version of this where it was a little bit random or just very precise, like when the level would load in, and you needed a wall to load in and have you like run into it and catch you, so you'd fall down. And when you would miss it, you would just be bouncing across all the walls back and forth as you like failed the trick. So we called it the pinball machine because you're
And
like,
it's a pinball machine. I love it.
because you're bouncing around, yeah. So I'm gonna do a little bit of a setup here so I know I'm in the right spot, and then I'm going to sprint backwards, but then immediately let go of sprint And what that's going to do is just get me to full walking speed really quickly, because I need to walk off of full speed here to hit this checkpoint. And as soon as he does this dialogue here, I know that I've hit the checkpoint, and then I can reload. And now we are pretty much at the very end of chapter 9, even though we were just at the start of chapter 8. But we're not done yet. We're gonna skip this little elevator ride too. Though we do have to blow up these explosive canister things here to progress. But I'm going to do another wall boost here, and that's gonna let me climb out of the elevator. So if I just buffer running to the right, I can climb out, and you can see the lift just kind of teleports back up to the top.
How hard would you say it is to do like the buffer run to like get over that?
This trick is actually really easy. And even honestly, even the one I did before isn't too bad. The game is actually, it does have hard tricks, but it's really nice learning it because there's a lot of easier versions of some things. And a lot of the tricks aren't necessarily required. So sometimes it's, earlier in the game in the church, if you don't want to do that floor clip because it's kind of hard, you can do that old clip I did where you push the mine through and break the fuse and then just go down to chapter 5. And again, you're only losing around, 2 minutes is kind of a lot, but if you're just learning like your first run, it's not too bad.
Gotcha.
All right. Oh, there's another tripod from the beginning of the game. We're just gonna kind of ignore them though. I actually just found out the other day too that you can die in this room if you wait long enough. I actually didn't know that. I was just kind of messing around in here and then I just exploded, and I just thought, wow. And
Wait, you just explode? Like, is it like it's pseudo timed?
Yeah, because if you see these things opening and exploding, I was sitting here thinking, does this go on forever? Because wouldn't they run out of assets to use? And then I blew up and died, and I thought, oh, okay, that's how they do that. Okay.
It just forced you out.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
All right, so we made it to the last cutscene of chapter 9. This is going to take us to chapter 10.
Awesome. So we're loading into that now.
Yes. So it's not loaded yet. There's going to be a moment where the game's going to teleport us to chapter 10. It's going to be very sneaky and make it look like we're just walking.
Gotcha.
It's going to make us look like we're walking into the Ishimura, like the ship coming up, but it actually teleports us somewhere else.
So as we're going to the next sections coming up, let me know if there's a good time, like, if there's any time that kind of like splits the chapters, or anytime you might want to get up and take a stretch break. Because I know we have a lot, we have some more left of this game. How many chapters are in Dead Space 2 again?
It's 15 chapters, so we're going into 10 now. 10 is a bit longer, but once we get past that, 11 through 15 actually go by pretty quickly with some of the skips we do. I don't know, I would say getting into this chapter wouldn't be a bad place for a break, because it's a bit of a long one.
All right. I just think it's good, it's like, I know we'll probably go over that 3-hour mark, and it's always good to like get up and make sure that you stretch. And anybody who needs water breaks, or if you have any questions in chat that you can post while we're up, and then we can get back to it and answer those questions. It's just a good time to have that and to be able to like digest all this information. Sometimes we also do like recaps when we come back from break, so it could be a good way to do that as well.
That sounds great. We're almost into chapter 10 now, so once we get there, that would be a good spot to do it.
Sounds great.
There's another cool little glitch I didn't mention, by the way. This, I don't know if you saw. There's not supposed to be 2 of them here.
Wait, 2 people?
Yeah, there's two Strasses and 2 Ellies here.
Oh, those are both the same. I didn't realize it's the same person.
Yeah, so that elevator trick I did. When you take the elevator down normally, because again, you're supposed to use this tram in chapter 9, and the pair on the right here, so this version of Ellie and this version of Strass are supposed to be in here, and when you go down the elevator, it despawns them. But since we jumped out and didn't go down the center, it never does that. So then when it spawns in the second pair, you just have both there.
Oh, that's so funny.
So it just looks.
So here they are.
It just looks pretty silly.
They're all working together.
Yeah. Oh, so this room here, right? So it looks like I'm supposed to be able to go out. Well, you can't see because it's deloaded, of course. But I forgot about that. But once we go in this room, we just get teleported about 2,000 coordinates away, which is
weird. Okay.
Very far away in this game. Like the distance from like where I'm standing to the ceiling is like 3 coordinates. So imagine that, but like 2,000. That's like how far it just moved us.
Just now.
Like yes.
We didn't even notice.
Yeah. No. In that, as soon as the door closes, boom, you're gone.
Oh, that's so weird.
It's a cool way that the game does a really good job of trying to not cut away from your perspective. It does it a few times, maybe, where the camera changes, but for the most part, it tries to be as seamless as possible.
Yeah, that's really it's really clever. That does a good job. You never know.
Yeah, so it's pretty neat. All right, well, we're coming up to the elevator to take us into chapter 10 now. So I believe this would be a pretty good place to stop for a moment.
Perfect. All right, everybody, digest the information that you have so far. If you have any questions, please post them in the chat. I'm sure that we would love to, and by we, I mean Sharkcat. I mean, I read it out in Sharkcat response to the questions. Would love to explain for you all if there's anything you have questions with so far, anything that he's done that you feel like could use a little bit more explanation. You know, again, that's what we're here for. That's what this show's all about. Like, we're learning, seeing how these things work, like learning how they're broken down. So please feel free to post that. Otherwise, get up, get some water, do a quick stretch. It's good to do that while you're gaming. We don't want to sit forever.
Yeah.
Okay, I see one question for when we get back. Awesome.
Perfect.
Cool. Okay, great. So we'll be back shortly. So wonderful having you all here. Again, it's really nice to be back. Just a quick reminder, and I'll say this at the end, but Frost Fatale is coming up this weekend.
Oh, awesome.
Awesome. It's going to be starting February 27th until March 5th. And you can type in !FF in chat, or you can go to gamesdonequick.com for more information. And that's an all-women online speedrunning event that's benefiting Malala Fund. Yours truly will be involved as a lady who loves supporting like women's education and women in speedrunning. Super happy to be involved once again. And, you know, maybe you'll see me on a little pre-show and doing some interviews and all kinds of stuff. So that'll be really cool. Yeah, so we will be back in just a few minutes, and we will get some answers to those questions. Yeah, can you hear me? Could you hear me before? I'm so sorry if you could not. Hello. Hello, hello. Well, anyway, let's start over. Hello, welcome back to That's Never Happened Before. Kungfufruitcup here with you all, and I'm joined by the awesome Sharkcat, or Sharkcat87 if you want to find him online. And he is showing off some Dead Space 2 glitches for us, which is awesome. So now that we are back from taking a quick break, everybody got up to get water. I wanted to get through some questions that were posted in chat while we were gone so we could answer that for you. So, Sharkcat, we have, I want to know what tripod is because people keep asking. I'm assuming it's a joke, maybe? Or like, what's tripod?
The tripod is just the name of the first boss in the game because it literally has a body and then two arms. I think that's what the enemy's called. That's what we call it anyway. I'm pretty sure that's what the name of it is. But yeah, it's the first boss at the end of chapter 1 in the hospital. And then you see some more of them. We just saw them earlier in the previous level. There's where you have to blow up the explosive canisters. They just keep spawning, and you have to deal with them. But no, it's the enemy. Yeah.
Oh, gotcha. Okay, so usually you just skip it, or like
the meme with the main meme with the tripod is we have a category called "Kill the Tripod," and it's like 5 minutes because it's just kill the first boss as fast as possible, and then we do a skip to get straight to him. But it's like, yeah, it's it's a bit of a meme because it's only 5 minutes, you know.
Okay, cool. Yeah, okay. I was just curious because I knew if enough people kept asking, I was like, there's got to be a joke around this.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So somebody would like to know if this game actually spooked you on your first playthrough. Do you remember?
Oh, definitely. No, I played this game for the first time when I was in 8th grade. And even, you know, regardless of me being younger, it is actually a pretty scary game, you know, despite all the crazy things you've been seeing here. It is a scary game the first time you play it, for sure. And it definitely did get me.
Nice. That's fair. I think I would have a very stressful time with it normally.
Yeah. I mean, you know, if you know where all the enemies are going to be and you played it for however many hours, like it doesn't really like, well, sometimes, well, then things happen you don't expect them, it does still scare you, but you know, that doesn't happen as often yet.
For sure. For sure. We have a question that's, have you ever seen any unused assets or like things while exploring out of bounds areas?
Yes. I can actually point one of them out in this level, actually.
Awesome.
And there's one later. I'll have to pull up a trainer that lets me fly around just so I can get to it, because otherwise I won't be able to. But In chapter 5, there are some weird audio logs that sound like beta recordings that aren't from the actual voice actors. There's something about, I had to do this thing to get out of the crypt. Isaac, you have to stay away from that. It's a trap from the unitologist. That's like something that doesn't happen in the game, but you can find. I know where one of them is, and like I know if it's set up to like run and hit it.
Oh, it's super cool.
So we can go find that later. But there's a random stasis recharge station in this level we'll get to in a few minutes here that you can actually use from out of bounds, and I'm pretty sure it's there because it's there in Dead Space 1 in the same place, because this level is, we'll go over that more in a bit, but this level is based on locations from the first game, and I think that I don't know if it's because they copied the map files over and then edited them or what, but yeah, it's just out of bounds. You can use it.
That's really cool. Yeah, I especially love stuff like that, because you never know.
Yeah.
There's like certain games that people make where you're supposed to find the quote unquote like out of bounds or like unintended stuff.
Yeah.
But actually seeing what developers were like thinking about using, or yeah, like you said, maybe they copy and pasted and then decided that they wanted to adjust it and not have it be that way. Like debug rooms, alternate text and titles, stuff like that. It's really interesting to find that. So it's really cool that you've been able to find some in this game as well.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Nice. Awesome.
Any
Okay,
other
well, feel free
questions?
to. I'm sorry. That's it. That's all that I see for now in terms of the actual game. We can continue to like ask questions when we have pockets of time throughout the rest of the run, but feel free to count down whenever you're ready.
Sure. Yeah, we can keep going in 3, 2, 1, go. All right. So I'm gonna call this lift up here, and I'm gonna get the text on the bottom for chapter 10, and we're gonna get some dialogue with Ellie here. I'm actually going to checkpoint restart here to skip that, just so I can use a save station up here. So, like I said, we've been seeing some alternate routes, and I think this level is a great example of that. So I want to show you all some tricks we used to do here, and then show you what we do now, just so you can sort of get the scope of how crazy this new skip is that we do. I was very shocked. I did not think something like this would ever get found, but that happens a lot in this game, and it goes to show you never really know what's going to happen.
Yeah, seriously.
So, here's the older route. This is what was done about a year ago, before the crazy stuff last summer happened. So you have to revisit multiple decks of the Ishimura here from the first game. So you start in the flight deck, and then you got to go down to the engineering deck, then the medical deck, and then the bridge, which are normally all separate levels in Dead Space 1, but they actually, you can connect, between them or travel between them because they're connected. But we're going to be doing some skips because we're not going to be doing all of that. So there's a trick up here called flight deck skip. Again, we're very creative with our names, common theme, but they're very descriptive, so at least there's that.
It's good to know what they actually mean. I actually appreciate when they're like that, because otherwise I'm like, I don't know what this means. And it's like, oh, it's this person's name, and I'm like, okay.
Yeah, if it was, okay, we're gonna do shark head skip here. Like, I don't really know what that means,
exactly.
but, okay.
It's a nice homage, but, you have no idea what it does.
Yeah. So again, common theme when deloads are found, it's pretty broken. Again, why we have a separate category, because we're gonna do a deload here by opening a door, opening a second door, and then running back to the first one. This is how we thought deloads worked when we first found this. So we literally went through the whole game, opening one door, then another one, then going back to the first one. And if it didn't deload, we just assumed you couldn't do it. And if you remember the one from earlier, I had to open like 5 doors. That got found yesterday. So we're still finding more deloads. It turns out they were a lot more complicated than we thought they were. But we can walk into this unloaded area here. And again, similar thing as before. If I open that door, it loads that room in. But if the door closes, it deloads the room, because the game says, okay, you're in this room. You don't need to be in that room. So I'm going to deload that for now. But now that both are deloaded, I can just run through the door. And again, when we're in a deload, the doors don't have collisions, so you can, you can just run through them. Now here, I'm gonna open this door and let that close. And I'll actually put classic aim on so we can see the collision here. So now this room is loaded, but this one isn't, which is actually what we want. So I'm gonna try to get this first try. I did practice these tricks a little bit, but it has been a little while since they've been in the run, so
what are we doing, and how are you setting up, if you don't mind?
Okay, oh yes, okay, so there's a corner here that I can run into. So I just run backwards until I can't move anymore. And I know I'm in the right spot. And now, so as you can imagine, trying to find setups for these things is a little bit annoying sometimes because, you know, you just can't. I mean, there's nothing to line up with here. But there are lights. So I'm going to use the side of this door frame or this door pad to line up with. So I'm just going to walk forward until it lights up. And then I'm going to aim slightly to the right of the door pad. And then I'm going to walk forward until his body's kind of clipped into it a bit. And if I spaced this right, I should be standing right on a ledge here. And I can stomp to do a stomp launch to get some more speed.
Right.
And hopefully that worked. We won't know till the load screen's done. But if I got that, we will be further in the level. And this saves about 45 seconds, having to do a bunch of, mostly just running. Oh, we did get it. Okay, cool.
Nice. Okay.
So that's flight deck skip.
Huh.
We're going to immediately jump into another trick here. So,
okay, of course.
Yeah. Oh, you know, I just realized I forgot to save there, but I have a backup save in chapter 10. So that's probably fine. Or I could just continue. Well, actually, you know what? Then I'll just continue with this route and then I'll show the other any % trick later because that would probably be easier.
Awesome.
We'll do that. That'll make more sense, I think, because you'll get to see the whole thing.
Right.
Okay.
Somebody was also asking about there's some other skips in chapter 7. Will you be able to go back and show some of those?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. I have a lot of saves for various tricks, either like useless, just kind of cool glitches, or like obsolete tricks. So we'll be going back and see because chapter 7 is really cool. Yeah, we'll definitely be going back and looking at that. Okay.
Lots of reasons to stick around until past the end of the run.
Yeah. Oh, you know, I just realized there's a little bit of a flaw in my plan here because I don't have stasis. I actually usually need that to stasis this guy. I didn't think that. I actually, okay. That's okay. Wait, hold on. I might have a huge brain here. And by that, I mean, I think I can go back. We're gonna improvise here a little bit. Yeah, this should work. All right, so I'm gonna flip what I said. I'm gonna do the any % stuff first, and then come back and show that later, because that other save has stasis, which I will actually need. But that's okay. I should be able to get back up there.
Yeah. I mean, either way, like we have time, so you can do whatever you need to do to just show off stuff.
Yeah.
What this is for.
Yeah, no, this will be fine. I don't know. I was thinking, oh, it'd be cool to, you know, go through, do the skips first, then do the other skip. But then I realized, wait a minute, stasis. Whoops. That's okay. Not a big deal. Actually, can I get back this way? We're about to find out, you know? This is a show about learning new things, and we're about to learn something right here. It is locked. Okay, that's fine. I'll just load the save and we'll do it from there instead. Well, there you go.
Oh.
Here we go. Okay, like I said, I did do backup saves, so we're still good.
Right. Yeah, I was gonna say this is why we have backup saves ready.
Yeah, I am curious. This should have
Perfect.
the patience right still. Yeah, okay. I have stasis. This might actually not have infinite ammo, but that's not a huge deal actually. Okay, we can go back to the original plan. This will work.
Perfect. Yeah,
All
I'm
right.
excited to see what's coming up next.
Okay, yeah. So I'll just do flight deck skip again really quick. This shouldn't go too long here, but what was I gonna say next about this? Oh yeah, the infinite ammo isn't really a big deal if this doesn't have it. Mostly just need the stasis, and we shouldn't have any other problems like that because this is really the only chapter that you need stasis for. Everything else we don't. But we do have it now, so that's a nice bonus, I guess.
Right. Yeah, exactly. But usually in any % now you don't.
Yeah. Oh wait, that actually reminds me too. I almost forgot. The stasis recharge thing. So I'll go ahead and waste a shot here. Right here.
Oh yeah,
Right
the
there.
out-of-bounds one.
You can hear me interacting with it. It's right there on the other side of the wall. You can't see it, but it is there. So yeah, you can do that.
Interesting.
Pretty neat. Okay, so now that we have stasis, very cool. I'm going to kill this enemy here, this brute. He tries to jump scare you here, but We sneak up on him there. They killed him, right? Yeah, okay. Okay, so if you remember the brute clip we did earlier where the enemy punched us through the door, we're gonna do something similar, but since we have stasis, we can get him to push us through instead. Now, this one is a little bit more difficult than flight deck, so it may take me a few tries to get it. I was practicing it earlier though, so we'll see how it goes. But we're gonna shoot him here to aggro him, and I'm gonna count his charges. So on the 5th one, I'm gonna stasis him. And if I get the timing right, I can bait him into charging me. Okay, so what happened there is he despawned, which is actually something you would do in, say, the no out of bounds run. For some reason, I don't know why, for some reason, when he hits that wall at a certain angle, he just disappears. And it actually changes the spawn of the enemies in this room too. I don't know why. Like, you just get completely different enemies. It's really weird. But that's what happens if he's not far enough forward. But the trick is, if he's too far forward, you don't clip either. So you gotta time that stasis shot to get him just in the right spot.
Yeah, makes sense. Well, this is one of those timing things you have to be prepared for.
Yeah, exactly. 3, 4, 5. That might be 2 or no, that actually looks, I'm not sure. We'll see. There we go.
There you go.
And we're through the door. Okay.
So while he's stasis, he's just able to push on you.
Exactly, yeah. His collision is still active, so he can push us through the door.
No, he can't get through.
No, he can't. If we get lucky here, we'll get a glitch we call brute spin, which is a funny quirk of his AI where the pathfinding gets sort of interrupted. He can't figure out a way to get to you. So he just spins in a circle. I have no idea why. It's very funny. But I'm setting up another damage boost here. See if we get a brute spin.
Oh no.
Ah, no brute spin. That's okay. Sometimes he spins around really fast too. I don't know. It's weird.
But did you hit the check? You think you hit the checkpoint, right?
About to find out. I'm pretty sure I did.
Okay.
Oh, we did. Okay. So that skips taking an elevator down, doing a hack panel, some kind of slow stuff. We do need to come back up this way later, so I'm gonna call the elevator because it's still at the top. So this way we just don't have to wait for it when we're leaving. So the reason we're doing this is because in the decontamination area, well, we go through the decontamination area and we have to repair the centrifuge. And once we do that, we can take the tram to the next area of the ship. This has the detonator, right? Yes, it does. Okay. Hey, here's that gun that we wanted earlier. Well, that we didn't get earlier, I should say.
Right. That you're like, oh, it's usually seems like it's a pretty strong weapon overall.
Yeah. So, okay. So I should probably start explaining some of this now. So this next trick is called decontamination skip. So we did do the first decontamination cycle, but there's another one. So you go in, you do your puzzle, you fix the centrifuge, and then you come back. But on the way out, it locks again and does another decontamination cycle, but that time you have to fight a bunch of enemies. So, as we talked about before, you can unload areas and run through locked doors. So in that case, locked doors aren't a problem. So all we have to do is get a deload while also finishing the puzzle. So, but the way we have to do the deload is a bit convoluted. So I mentioned earlier there's some tricks in this game that don't look fast, but are actually very fast. This is one of them. It looks very convoluted and kind of like it wouldn't save time, but trust me, it is fast. So we're gonna head over there now. Oh yeah, I have the foam finger here, I guess, on this save. I'm gonna show that off a little bit too. It's an NG plus weapon. This is what you get for beating the game on hardcore. It just insta-kills everything. It makes their limbs explode.
Whoa. That's what this save file is.
Yeah, I guess this one had that for some reason. I'm not sure why, but it's
awesome though.
Cool either way.
Yeah, very cool thing to see.
Yeah. So, I should mention too, because I'm about to do it here. I'm placing a mine here, and I put one back there. And the reason I'm doing that is because we have to run through a lot of this area in the dark, and we need some visual cues. And fortunately, these lasers stay there. So even when the room's all dark, I can still see this, and I can kind of tell, like, okay, that's where the door is because that's there.
That's helpful.
All right. We can't get the deload yet, though, because you can't grab props when, like, if the level's half loaded or completely unloaded, props just aren't solid. So we have to do this while it's, what? Okay, it's just trolling me a little bit there, but that's fine. All right. So if I go hit that button now, the 0G turns off and the puzzle's marked as complete, like it sets a flag or something like that. And if we run back, the decontamination cycle will go on and all that. So,
enemies, yeah.
but we can't clip out of the room once 0G is off. So what we're gonna do is do another version of 0G clipping, this time called an align clip. So as you can imagine, having, you know, all this, you know, freedom of movement is cool, but you can get very disoriented. So there's actually a button to align you to the ground. And we can abuse that to clip through ceilings, kind of like this.
Oh, interesting.
And then
Can I also ask why the music is so intense right now?
It's because these enemies in the previous room are trying to get to me, but they can't.
Oh.
Because I clipped out of bounds, I think. Let me see. Yeah, you can see some of them over there. It's kind of dark. I don't know if you can actually see them, but they're sort of chilling over
They're
there.
small. Yeah, I see. They're really small.
Yeah. Okay. So now, that's that mine we placed earlier too.
Yeah.
Getting out of bounds. But now we're gonna begin the main meat of this skip. So I'm lining up here, and then I'm gonna fly forward, and I'm gonna land on a door here. And I'm gonna do another door dive, which again is where we back up and we open a door as we fall, and it loads the level around us. I'm gonna tap back, open that. So now this room's loaded in. Now
The doors are unloaded.
so we can run through here. So this is the decontamination room where this like red or orange panel is. And then going back that way is where the elevator would be, which you can see there. That's the elevator shaft. Now, that door closing unloads a room over here. Because again, these things are all basically puzzles. It's okay, you know, if I open this door, it does this, but if this door closes, it also does this. So sometimes you need to open a door from a specific side, or say, like in this case, I need to open that door and let it close. And when that happens, the level's loaded in a way that I want. So now, when I run out here, I can get in this 0G area because there's nothing blocking me now. So now I'm back in here. And there's that other mine we placed, which hopefully if I do this right, I can open another door, which I got. There we go. Okay.
Oh, whoa.
So now I'm back in the centrifuge room, but it's unloaded. And you can see out of bounds here, that's like that whole hallway that leads back to where we just were.
Right.
We're almost done. We have one more step to set this up, which is I need to open this door. And then I basically need to have these doors closed in a certain order. And what that's going to do is deload that whole area too.
Oh my gosh.
And now
Yeah, so
the
it really
entire-
does seem convoluted.
Yeah, but skipping the whole thing actually still ends up saving about, I think it's like half a minute. Or like all of this is still faster than doing that fight because it takes so long. And now we come all the way back to that panel I mentioned. And now the puzzle's done, 0G's off, and we can get out of here. And you can see here, I can sort of use the locator to see where to go. You don't need it, but I can just visually show like this is kind of like where we're going here.
Huh. You've just done it so much, you just know. Oh, you're getting grabbed.
Oh yes, that's another hallucination you usually get bombarded by there, yeah.
Oh.
So now I have to make it my way through the dark here. Fortunately, we got stasis, so we can stop them. But yeah, again, you can sort of see the lines on the ground can kind of show you where to go.
Ellie, I've got the centrifuge online.
Love that.
But yeah, we have to. Where am I? Here we go.
Okay.
There we are.
Almost got us disconnected.
So now you see here the door locks. Not a problem. We just run straight through it. Got to open that door there, which loads in the elevator. And since we called it earlier, it's now at the bottom, and we can get in right away. Otherwise, it would. Oh, and it loads back in. Yeah. Otherwise, you have to wait for it to come all the way back down.
You can't see it because you haven't taken the
Wow,
steps.
that is really, I mean, that's honestly a lot to do and to like set up, but you know
Yeah.
what? Saving time is saving time.
Yeah. So now.
Pretty
I'm
wild that it saves that much time.
Yeah. So I'm actually going to reload that other save to continue from where, like, what we would do now. Because here you would go from, you take a tram over to the medical deck, and then you go all the way through there. But we're going to start from here. So all of that stuff we just did, we can skip doing all of that stuff. And it's this saves like, I think it's like 5 or 6 minutes over doing all of that
Whoa.
already. This is
That's
one of
a lot.
another one of the biggest skips in the whole game. It's kind of ridiculous. So you don't even go in that area at all, actually. As soon as
So
you
no decontamination room.
no flight deck skip, no brute clip, no decontamination, no centrifuge, none of that. Here's what you do.
Gosh.
We turn classic mode on. And as soon as we come up the lift, we do a setup here, and then I go to 19 FPS and back up, and I can clip off the lift like that. And the way that works is when you use a lift, it puts invisible walls around you to block you from just being able to run off. But you can get stuck on a corner there, and you're able to wall boost, and then you can pop over onto this ledge here and get out of bounds. And from here, we're actually going to go this way, the opposite direction. It turns out that area of the medical deck that I was about to be going to next is over here, and we can get to it.
Oh, thank goodness for just random parts of collision, because now you can walk on it.
Oh, we tried so many dumb things to get off that lift. We tried putting ladders in the way to block us and all these crazy things, but it ends up, you can just, at lower FPS, you can just run off like that. It's a lot easier.
Awesome.
Yeah, you can kind of, I don't know if you can see, there's like a few kind of purplish blue lights. I actually can't even really see them, that my brightness cranked up, but that's where medical deck is over there. Okay, this trick is also a little bit difficult. I'll see if I can get it first try, but I'm going to be
setting up.
So I'm gonna get on this ledge until I start sliding off. And once I see my character sliding here, I start tapping back to the right until he stops. So now I know I'm like as far left on the ledge as I can be without falling off. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna place an explosive here and then use a texture on the wall to set up my angle. And then I'm actually gonna turn VSync on because I wanna be at 30 FPS now. The reason for that is when you're at 30 FPS and you fall off a ledge, you actually get a little bit more speed than when it's uncapped. So I turn on 30 FPS, we get damage boosted, and then I turn VSync off, so now it's uncapped again. And if I time this right, I'm gonna try to open a door, which will load us in. And this is the tricky part, because if you don't do it with the right timing, you'll fall through the floor and die.
So we'll see. Super fast for it, or?
Yeah, we're going pretty fast. Yeah. So we'll see here. And we got it. Nice. Okay.
Oh, wow.
So I'm going to turn center aim back on, and I'm actually going to turn high graphics on because there are some lights here that only show up when, I don't know if you can see them, these sort of glowing lights.
Yeah.
Those only show up when high graphics are on. And the reason we do that is because we are now at the beginning of the medical deck. That's the tram over there that you would get off on normally. This is all unloaded, but since these lights are here, we can actually use them as visual cues to know where to go. Nice. So over here, you're supposed to do a hack panel, and again, common theme, there's a locked door. We just run through it.
Just run through it?
Yep. Now this is out of bounds here unless I open this. So I open the door to load that in. Okay. And same thing, I have to open another door from this side just to load this in. And here's another cool thing. This is another locked door. You're never supposed to open this one though. You're supposed to take that lift, go up all the way around, come down, but instead we just walk through it. And now we're in the other room. Now
doors just don't exist in this run.
Doors are more of a suggestion most of the time, yeah. Oh yeah, look, you see that's loaded back in now. There's a bit of electricity that can kill us here. You can't hear it, but I guess because it doesn't load in properly, but we got to pull that battery out. And I'll actually, it's a little bit faster to continue this deloaded, but I'll just load it back in so everybody can actually sort of see what we're doing here.
Yeah. Oh, here it is. Look, it's the level.
Yeah. So you can keep running through here in the dark and save a few seconds, just not having to wait for these doors to open, but not a
the
huge deal.
bioluminescent liquid, is that supposed to be blood or another type of?
Yes, it is blood. Yeah, from the necromorphs attacking people. Yeah. So they've been. The beginning of the level, everything is very cleaned up, but then the further you go into it, the more you get to the parts they haven't gotten to yet. And then here, yeah, you can see here, it's all blood. All right, so that is medical deck. And now we're heading over to the bridge here. There is, I guess there's two little small skips we can still do in this chapter. This level is very broken.
Is this still 10 after 10?
Yes.
Wow.
As long as this may seem, like the old route, I would say it was about, what, like 10 and a half minutes. If I was in a run on PB pace here, this level would only be about 4.5 minutes actually. Like we'd be at this point in like around 2 minutes or less. Awesome. If we were going full speed.
Wow.
So I'm gonna headshot these enemies here, because assuming I wouldn't normally have stasis, I couldn't slow them down. So I'm just doing that so they can't hit me, and then taking this guy out. So I gotta pause here because they're gonna come attack me if I don't.
Is this area based on the first game as well? This looks really familiar.
It is, yeah. This is if anybody's wondering, this is chapters 4 and 8, or otherwise just known as the bridge. It's where you do those like asteroid shooting sections.
Right.
So I'm gonna do another save station clip here. If you didn't see earlier, how this works is when you interact with the save station, it pulls you in. But if you walk forward, aim, and then interact with it at low FPS, you can abuse that momentum to clip down instead of having it pull you in the normal spot. So I'm gonna toggle to 5 FPS here, and if I do it right, okay. See, this is why you gotta be careful here, because they'll come attack you if you don't get it first try. Okay, let's see if I can do that again here. Yeah, fortunately I have the foam finger here, that makes that a lot easier. Oh, there we go.
The foam finger is something you get from the hardcore, beating the hardcore, like you said?
Yes, if you beat hardcore, you get the foam finger. It's a very funny weapon.
That's the thing that auto destroys everybody.
Yeah, it instantly dismembers all the enemies completely and they explode.
So funny.
I don't know how many people know this actually. I didn't know this till pretty recently, but if you punch enemies with the foam finger, they also explode and die in one hit. It's not even just shooting it, which is kind of funny.
That's amazing.
But that's where we just were. So we fell out of bounds, and I can hit a checkpoint here. This just skips hitting or taking a lift down. I think it says like 15 seconds. Pretty decent amount, but
yeah, it's like not nothing for sure.
Yeah, it just skips a little dialogue and taking an elevator down. You know, we were actually making jokes earlier, I think, about, you know, naming skips after specific things and not people, but this trick is actually called the shark tether. I actually didn't name this, but the way this room works is you activate these gravity tethers, and by holding this button down, and once it ends, it plays a cutscene, and then you take the escape pod to get to the next level. But I found out there's another runner of the game named Ted, and he just started doing this and running away from it. And I said, wait, you can do that? I thought you had to actually stand on top of the panel. And he said, oh yeah, I used to do that all the time when I played this game. And it turns out you can actually open this door, hit this, and then get out of here, because it's supposed to lock you in once the sequence is over. But you can actually get out of the door just a few seconds faster this way, with it being like this. Oh, also fun fact, if you use the scroll wheel to interact with that panel, it crashes the game for some reason.
What?
So so that's why I'm not gonna do it, but it is pretty funny.
You have to like do it normally, basically, not with like the mouse in the same way.
Yeah, because you're supposed to press and hold E, not mash it. So I think when you spam scroll, it tries to do it over and over and over again, and then it just can't handle it and crashes.
Oh, that would make sense. Yeah, that would totally make sense.
All right, so last trick for chapter 10. We're gonna attempt to do a cutscene skip here. If we look down, I can interact with the escape pod button before a hallucination cutscene plays with Nicole. Just like that. This does break the sound for this cutscene, so we're gonna have pretty much no audio for about a minute here, at least for the game anyway.
Like how awkward his character model is, like when his legs are adjusting in that seat because he's still wearing the wrong suit.
Oh yeah, the animations look super silly.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we made it through chapter 10.
Awesome. There we go.
That's one of the longer levels in the game. At least it used to be anyway. Now it's really short. But we're heading over to chapter 11 now, which is we usually consider like every 5 chapters to be, you know, early game, mid game, late game. So this would be entering late game now. But it's actually the shortest.
And you said that they're a bit faster as well.
Yeah, it's the shortest chunk. I think in a regular any % run, these last 5 chapters take about like 18 minutes. Compared to like, I think early games like 20, 23, and then mid games, however, you know, take that minus 104, whatever that is. Yeah, it's a bit longer, but
Gotcha.
Yeah, we're entering the mines here. We're getting another hallucination. I guess I should explain a little bit of the story. We skip a lot of the story in mid game.
That's fair. That's how this works.
But Nicole's hallucinations blaming him for her dying in the first game, and then we're gonna cut to Strauss going a little bit crazy here. It's talking about step 3, sticking a needle in your eye, all this stuff. Those of you that have played the game before might remember the eye poke machine at the end of the game. You had to stab a needle in Isaac's eye. So that's sort of what he's referencing here. Ellie has a not very fun time with Strauss.
Yeah, he's going a little oof.
Yeah, not very fun. But a little cool thing we just did is the cutscene makes you stagger twice, and if you open this door before the second stagger, it'll already be open by the time the cutscene's over, so it just saves a little bit of time. All right, so for this room, we just gotta take out all the enemies as fast as possible. So we're gonna use the line gun here. It's very strong to take out a bunch of these guys at once. And I'm gonna use this baby to kill this guy, this explosive enemy. There we go. And then we just snipe the last one.
Explosive?
They are, yeah. The little crawling ones with the they're called crawlers, I believe.
The things on their back.
Yeah, those are explosive.
Reminds me of one enemies in Dark Souls. Or like the people with a huge like on their back. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah. Yeah, they will blow you up. Speaking of explosive enemies, these things are called cysts. We've seen them a little bit. You can dodge them if you're. Okay, there we go. If you take the right lines there, you can dodge them. I like when I get hit by the first one, I like to say it's an intentional damage boost because you get hit forward.
Oh.
So, but
nice.
Oh yeah, this is more of a Dead Space 3 piece of tech, but it also works in this game. When you have slowed movement, aiming with a weapon that you hold with one hand, or also called a one-framed weapon, makes you move faster. So you can see if I hold like the line gun, I move kind of slow here, but then if I pick up the cutter, I just move a little bit faster.
A little, yeah.
A little bit.
I can see it was minimal, but yeah.
All right, I'm gonna sort of fix my inventory here to have something more like what we would actually have. Get rid of that foam finger for now. Just gonna pick up some health packs here.
More like a normal 20%. Seems like most of the people who are on your side end up not being on your side in this game.
That is definitely very true. Okay, I don't have infinite ammo. That's fine. We really don't need that much ammo at this point. That's a bit of an unlucky spawn, but hopefully it doesn't blow me up. It did not blow me up. Okay, nice.
Oh, perfect.
So we gotta replace this battery over here, but we can kind of just ignore a lot of these enemies. And coincidentally, putting this battery in gives us a checkpoint. So checkpoint restarting de-aggroes them all, and we get a fresh spawn here. That's the same every time.
Okay.
Try to not get sniped by that guy. I don't know if I mentioned, but if those enemies hit you with that projectile, it will slow your movement. Also, this guy likes to jump up here. I don't know why. That's a little weird. That's like, you don't even have to do anything for that to happen. Also, those things are floating. Nice. I think it's because of the checkpoint restart, but I'm not 100% sure about that one.
Interesting.
I'm gonna grab some of this ammo. Okay.
Yeah, because since you don't have it anymore.
Yeah. Like
Is that her eyeball?
It is, yeah.
Oh, that's so sad.
Don't worry, she gets him back in a second here. Yeah.
You owe me an eye, you bastard!
Yeah. She gets her eye back in Dead Space 3, it's alright.
Oh, that's good.
I mean, it's not great, but it's better than nothing, you know?
Yeah, maybe it's a different eye?
It's actually a different color, yeah. It's a cool little detail.
Well, hers, it has like a hole in it, so I assumed that wouldn't work. All right,
so we checkpoint restart here, which puts us just a little bit further back. So, again, we're going to do another wiggle clip here. Through the wall. Oh, that was really good. Nice.
Oh, nice. Okay.
So that one's a bit weird because you have to sprint. Usually when you do these, you don't want to sprint because it kind of pushes you back away from the wall. But for that one, you actually do have to sprint. It's a bit strange.
Like based on the angle of...
Yeah. There's a bit of a faster setup, but this one's easier to explain. I put my torso in this floating audio log out here, and I line up with this caution sign, which is currently mirrored, but we just aim somewhere there and fly back, and we'll fall out of bounds here. And so this is called, okay, I actually should start explaining some more of this because the next, like that and the next two skips actually all tie together and are needed to do each one. So that was Strauss' kill skip. There's normally a section of this chapter where you go through, you meet back up with Strauss, and then you start hallucinating again, and then you kill Strauss. And then you come down here and have another hallucination with Nicole, which we also skipped. But one of the really cool parts is because we hit that checkpoint while the 0G was still active, it actually overlaps with this part of the level when it's not supposed to. So I can actually fly around in part of this area. You can see it ends right here. It goes back to normal. But for part of the level, it overlaps, and I can fly around, which is something I'm not supposed to be able to do right now.
So is that helpful for some stuff, or is it just cool?
It will be very useful in a second here. So there's this elevator shaft. And normally, well, I mean, I guess it is still an auto-scroller, but usually you take the elevator up and you have to fight some enemies, and then you get to the top, and then you watch a cutscene with Nicole where she kind of yells at you and slams against a wall and all this stuff, and then you get to proceed on to chapter 12, which is the next level. But, well, actually, again, this is another situation where 11 and 12 are actually one map. So chapter 12 is way up there above us. But again, we can fly, so you would think, okay, we'll just fly to the top. Problem is, it doesn't go all the way up to the top here. So we should think, okay, well, this is a cool thing you can do, but it's not actually useful. But I should actually, maybe I can show this off here. This is actually somewhat similar to a glitch in Dead Space 1. It's called tilting. So in that game, if you start in 0G and you punch and you leave the 0G, you maintain the property to stick to walls and have it rotate you around. You can see it kind of like rotates me on this slope here. So you can stick to walls, but if you punch and get a slant like this, and then you stop punching, in that game, my coordinate system will actually be shifted that way. So now everything would be like this, and I could run around with it all tilted still. You can see here it like rotates me back to normal. In this game, it won't stick, but you can still tilt your character. So as long as I'm punching, I can maintain the ability to stick to walls, like walls, ceilings, floors, whatever, even if I'm not in 0G anymore. You might be able to see where this is going, at least partially here. So what we're gonna do is call the elevator up, and then I'm gonna launch and fly up to a platform here. And what we're gonna do is punch all the way to the top of the elevator. You know, I keep saying we don't have good names for skips, but this one is actually kind of funny. It's literally called Punch Up the Shaft. Because we're going to punch up this entire elevator shaft. You can see I can walk on this wall here. The end of the 0G is like right there. But if we start punching and don't stop until we reach the top of the shaft, I can actually keep sort of climbing on the elevator here. We will get enemies still, and if they hit me, I lose the tilt. So I do have to stay up here and just sort of keep going back and forth until we get to the top. But what this is going to let us do is this pillar that's like right here, we're going to continue climbing that up until we're out of bounds, and we can actually skip that cutscene that I mentioned with Nicole.
How long is the cutscene?
It's about a minute. Well, maybe a little less than a minute. No, actually, I forget the exact numbers. It's like around a minute, I think. It's pretty long.
Yeah, that's a good one to skip.
Yeah. And like I said, these skips are sort of like prerequisites for each other. So if you don't do the skip that gives you 0G, you can't do this because you need that to stick to the wall.
Right.
And once we get to the top, we're actually going to do another big trick that requires doing both of these things. Because when I go back to the cutscene, it's not going to be loaded properly. So you remember earlier when we had the Nicole T-posing glitch? We had, you know.
Yes.
So you can get cutscenes to not quite play out correctly. So what happens in this case is the cutscene just doesn't play, but a lot of cutscenes will make you invincible, so you can't die during them, right?
Ooh,
so it won't play the cutscene, but it still makes you invincible. So we will not be able to take damage at all from that, and that's going to be very useful in a little bit. But
is it going to be for the rest of the game or just for the?
We're gonna have we're gonna have invincibility all the way up until the final boss, because we will have to checkpoint restart. And if you checkpoint restart, it goes away. So we have successfully punched up the shaft. We're up on this platform.
Okay. Wow.
So we've got to do a little bit more platforming here to get in the right place. I just got to be a little bit careful, because if we fall, we have to punch up the shaft again. So I'm placing some explosives down there. I'm actually gonna make sure they die here. The door won't be unlocked unless they're dead. Seems like we're good. Doing some lineups here so we don't fall. And now we're down here. So that's the door. I don't know if we can see it from here. There's a door over there. You're supposed to open that, and that plays the cutscene, and then you come down through here, and that's where chapter 12 is. So I'm going to hit a checkpoint here, and then I can reload.
Love how often you fall through stuff, and you're like, well, here's the next checkpoint, and then this door's gone, and then I fall again, and another checkpoint.
And believe it or not, you can still do all of this in hardcore, just in a different way without having to reload. You can actually fall down and open that door, and well, the other skip from before you have to do pretty differently, but it's pretty neat how it works. So now we're gonna go back, and I'll pull up an explosive here so you can see. Oh, I should buy the contact beam too while I'm here, now that I'm thinking about it. but
Sure.
normally when you open this, it plays the cutscene. It doesn't, nothing happens. But now, if I place this explosive down, you'll see that I don't take any damage. So now...
Oh my gosh.
So
then you can't get damage boosted forward again.
that is true, yeah. So we can't do any more damage boosts. But that will be okay.
Yeah, but you're invincible.
But yeah, but we're invincible, so it's definitely all right. I'm gonna switch the order of these weapons here. Okay. So I mentioned earlier that plant boost was one of the first skips in the game. This one was also one of the first ones as well. This is called drill boost. So normally we're gonna go down here and watch a cutscene. We're still gonna do it later because it'll look pretty funny when we do it then. But we can actually wall boost on this railing here and go around this side and skip the cutscene for now. Again, these guys can't hit me because I'm invincible. So again, because of the save I had to load, we don't have infinite ammo, but at any percent here normally you would have infinite ammo, infinite air, and you're invincible without cheating. Like, you know, no Game Shark or anything like that involved. You know, we're like just playing the game normally. We're pretty much unstoppable. It's kind of funny how that works out.
That's like totally normal.
Yeah, there's nowhere else in the game you can get invincible, but this is the one place you need it. So it's kind of a miracle that this works.
Yeah, that it goes together. It's like it was meant to be, you know?
Yeah. All right.
Dream.
Another small trick here. I'm gonna go to 5 FPS again, and using this gondola, I can use the prop and my momentum to hopefully clip through that right there. So that just skips a little bit of walking around here.
Gotcha.
You can see Ellie's here. You're supposed to talk to her in this part during the cutscene, but that's not gonna happen. Are these guys chasing me? They don't usually do that. Okay. We're invincible, so it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, that's true. That is true.
Oh, yeah, see this guy's trying to hit me while I'm doing the hack panel. I don't think he can.
Yeah, would it still like stop you from doing it?
No, it only does it if you like take like a damage animation or something like that, and it knocks you out of it. He can still grab me though.
Oh,
So I
he's
do-
still trying to get you?
Yeah, so I do have to take him out because you can still get grabbed. You can't die from a grab, but it is just annoying. Oh right, I forgot to let me go over here and show this off. This should still look pretty funny. So I can actually still watch this cutscene here if I can get over there. There we go. So this isn't exactly how this is supposed to play out normally.
No, not at all.
Not really, no.
Just staying there.
I wish this was still fast. It's actually faster not to do this, but it is funny.
This is amazing. Oh my god.
Trust me, I just hit the marker. He was running away from
Poor
his kid.
thing. Machine's going through, her eyes missing.
At least you got it patched up though.
Anymore.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I guess.
That would hurt so bad.
This drill's a stroke of
I
good
try
luck
not to think
finally.
about that when I play this game.
Yeah,
Why don't you get up
that's
to the
fair.
cab and try to get it started? I'll look for the other power cell.
All right. See what I can do from up here.
That enemy's coming after you.
Oh, and also, if I hadn't watched that cutscene, she would get in a position where she's sitting down here, but she wouldn't actually be in the drill, and we would actually just leave without her.
Oh my gosh.
Um,
Does she
but-
load in later, I guess?
No, she just never comes back. She just like stays here. But
You don't see it for the rest of the game?
oh no, she comes back not for this chapter, like not for the drill,
Oh,
right?
okay. I was like, what?
Yeah, no, she comes back. All right, so we're actually gonna skip the drill though. So the way I should explain a little bit of this before I do it, and I'll explain more like
Yeah.
during it. But so I said 11 and 12 are all one map. So if you remember that 0G area from before that we we clipped out of bounds in, and then we used it to fly up the elevator shaft, it's still there, but it's really far below us. So if we try to fall down there, we'll die. But we're invincible, so that's what we need the invincibility for. It bypasses that soft lock timer that kills us. So we're going to clip off of the drill. It's going to leave, and when it gets far enough away, it's going to deload the room we're in because the game doesn't need it anymore. And we're going to fall all the way down to the 0G and do a lineup. And the way the auto-scroller works is instead of Isaac loading things in, it's the drill. So even if you're not on it, it continues to load in the next parts of the game. And when it gets to the very end of its auto-scroller path, it loads in chapter 13, which is the next level. And it just so happens that we can fly directly above where the next level is going to be in the 0G. So we can do a lineup to get in a particular spot where it will unload the level, we'll fall, and we'll land in the next level. And it's gonna look really slow because we have to wait in the dark for about a minute, but it saves like 5 or 7 minutes or something ridiculous. It's actually huge, the amount of cutscenes and things.
That's a really long time. Yeah,
skips.
those are huge skips for this kind of run.
Oh, absolutely. So I turned 30 FPS on and use that panel again to clip us off here. And I'm actually going to use the contact theme for that this lineup, which is why I got it. So now we're out of bounds. And I have to do this a little bit quick, but I need to line up my dot with this light here. If I can get it. There we go. So I actually have live split running in the background. You all won't be able to see it, but the reason I have that open is because we need to know, the setup is based on a timer. So I'm going to go left for a certain amount of time and then back, and then I'm going to stop. And I'm just pausing to let go of the mouse here so I don't mess up my angle. But I'm buffering sprint left here, and this should split. Cool. So now I have a timer running, and I can see 4 or 5 is counting up. So once it gets to 27 here, I'm going to pause the game and then fly backwards until we get to 104. And then I'm going to stop, and then we're going to wait for a bit and wait for the drill to sort of get into the right spot. Okay. So I'm going to...
Yeah, I was going to ask for timing as well. I'm sorry, go on.
Oh, yeah, no problem. So I'm just going to make sure I don't miss this. So we're almost there.
27.
Okay, that's 27. So now we fly back until the timer hits 104.
Oh, okay. Wow, a while.
And once we get there, I'm gonna pause and then let go. And if we do that all right, I should have drifted right to the edge of the 0G, and I'll be right above where chapter 13 is going to be. But it's not. So we're basically back like in the middle of chapter 11 right now, actually, even though the drill is supposed to be chapter 12. We fell all the way back to chapter 11. We actually backtracked, essentially. We backtracked from chapter 12 to 11 so we could skip to 13. So, you know, any questions?
I think our estimate is correct, currently.
Yes. But yeah, yeah. So, okay. So we made it into the right spot. Again, this whole section is very complicated. That skip earlier that I mentioned in decontamination, that used to be, when that was found, that was the most complicated skip in the game, and I thought, oh man, you're trying to explain this is, you know, kind of difficult because all these moving parts. And then this got found, and this is just like so much worse to explain.
Oh, this drifting part, like the timing and the...
Yeah. I mean, it's
okay. Honestly, I think I'm keeping up pretty well.
Yeah. No, I mean, I don't think it's I think we've gotten pretty good at explaining it. I just mean, like, it's when we first found it, it was how do we explain it? There's like so many things that happen, you know. But yeah, like I said, I promise, guys, this is fast. This is really fast.
It is. It's just hard to tell.
Yeah. So we're waiting for 249 on the timer now, and when that happens, we're gonna fly back, and we will be set up to land in the next level. Yeah, like I said, it's you know, you start in 11, and then you gotta make the 0G stay, and then use that to get out of bounds, which lets you get invincible, and then use that invincibility to fall all the way back down here, and makes it all work. This is a skip. Gotcha. I cannot believe that this still works. Like this is like a year old now, I think, this trick, and I still can't believe that it is.
I mean, the main question around this that I see in chat as well is like, how did somebody discover this and know the timings? Oh yeah, I
could talk about that a little bit. Actually, finding the setup for this version was actually pretty easy with what we knew about it. Yeah, no, I can talk about that real quick. So I helped find part of this, and then I didn't find most of these setups. But basically what happened was, I was like, okay, so 11 and 12 was one area, and I tried to teleport to chapter 13 because we have a list of where all the checkpoints are, and you can, you know, teleport to them and load them in. But 13 wasn't loaded yet, so I figured, okay, well, you can't skip the drill, which kind of sucks because it's like a long auto scroller, and you just got to wait, and then you got to watch some cutscenes. So I said, okay, what if you know, but I realized that like this 0G area overlapped with 13, even though they weren't loaded at the same time. So I was like, okay, what if you just teleport here, and then when the drill gets to the end, does it load in 13? And then it did, and I was like, okay, well that works. But how would you get down here? You know, which was the last thing to be found, because we found the invincibility glitch on accident, which was kind of cool. And then also on accident, I just figured out you could clip off the drill with the panel, and then we were like, okay, we got all the steps now. So, you know, Crazy, Waifu, Looney, Radish, all these guys came in and found setups for it. And this is actually the third iteration of drill skip too. We call this super drill skip. So there's drill skip, extended, and then super, which is, you know, kind of funny because we used to just say, oh, if this skips that, we just call it skip skips. You know, chapter 8, it's chapter 8 skip, chapter 8 skip skip, but then chapter 8 skip skip skip. And then we said, okay, that's kind of stupid. Why not extended whatever? And I guess that just sort of, you know, that's how that all
Super.
got
If
found.
you get another version, you got to call it ultra.
Ultra drill skip. Yeah, I think that's the, hopefully we don't find another drill skip so we're done messing with this. Because we used to, when you test this, you have to sit here for like 3 minutes and then do it.
Yeah,
and it's like,
true.
oh, that didn't work. So it was very tedious figuring this all out, but I'm glad it's all, it's all done. But yeah, okay, we're at the right time here. So I'm gonna buffer flying back. I'm gonna go backwards here. And I will start pause buffering around here. And if we do this right, we should open this door. There it is.
Oh,
All right.
nice.
So now we are actually fairly into chapter 13 now.
Oh.
Not quite in the middle, but pretty far. I'll come back and show some of the stuff we used to do in this level because it's actually pretty cool. But we are now still invincible and the level's deloaded. So Nicole's gonna try to, you know, lock us in this room, but you know, doors again don't really matter. They're an illusion in this game most of the time.
Yeah, exactly.
So we can kind of, oh, if I can find the door, there we go. So we just skip straight into chapter 13 now. So yeah, again, that skips a pretty long auto scroller and a fairly long amount of cutscenes as well. And we're actually pretty close to the end of the game here. I said there were 15 chapters, but we are not going to be in chapters 14 or 15 for very long, I'll say that. And chapter 13 is not too long from this point either, actually.
Right, exactly. That's what you were saying earlier as well.
So again, these guys can't hit me, so I can kind of just walk past them. Just gotta put that battery in to open this door. And have another fun chat with Nicole for a second here.
Really struggling with that.
Yeah. Oh, the batteries in this game are really annoying to get in the right spot. This is really cool. So this is the laser room. These insta-kill you normally, but obviously here they don't. And you can actually get pushed by this thing too, which also normally kills you. You can actually like run around really fast with this thing
Oh, that's handy.
as it pushes you. This is not actually what we do on the run, but it does look cool. You can kind of moonwalk here, I guess. That's neat. Oh wait, where am I now? Oh yeah. Okay, so you're here, you start here, and you used to run through here and actually dodge the lasers like this. But since you start over here and you're invincible, you can just run through like this instead.
Run through and then just go to the other side. Oh,
Oh, getting blocked. Okay, there we go.
without getting caught on it. Like, no,
That's
don't.
pretty-
Go the right way.
Yeah, so that's pretty funny that you can do that.
Yeah.
All right, so we have 2 more tricks coming up that are pretty much going to lead us straight into the final boss. So first things first, we're going to do one more deload here. We're going to use another slasher to help us out, holding a door open for us. Though I am going to grab a checkpoint for safety though, because if he dies, you just can't do the trick at all. So just in case he decides to be a little bit funny, we're gonna grab this real quick. Gotta
Do you
through this
go
room.
for the checkpoint during runs, or is it like
No,
have to try?
in runs I just do it. If he dies, the run's just dead. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
It happens to me sometimes. It's very unfortunate, but we've gotten pretty good at it recently. And then I said that he's gonna die. Oh, he didn't die.
And he's
Okay, good.
invincible still, so.
Yeah, fortunately he can't hit me, which is nice. So similar thing to a lot of other deloads. He's holding this door open for us. I hit that one, unloads this one, and then I can just walk back in here.
Perfect.
And you can see with the locator, that's where we're supposed to go. This one, we're actually not even going to go out of bounds at all. This is just to skip a ton of doors that we'd normally have to open and wait for.
That makes sense.
As well as...
It takes time to wait for them.
Yeah, it definitely adds up. This one's a little bit difficult to navigate, especially the first time you do it, because there's not as many visual cues as a lot of other deloads in the game. It's kind of like, okay, I know that the door's right around there because it lines up with that locker, but beyond that, you kind of just get a feel for it.
Can you keep using the yellow thing if you need it?
Yeah, so that's one thing too. Yeah, when you learn the game, especially deloads, a lot of times the locator is telling you where to go. Sometimes it doesn't because you're kind of going, you know, not where the game wants you to go, or you're going out of bounds.
Yeah.
But in this case, it does.
Okay.
I'm also supposed to do a hack panel here to open a locked door. But again, you know,
It doesn't matter.
it just run through it. It's fine. Yeah, that all saves about 20 seconds running through there, or not without having to open any of those doors. Just gotta make it through this hallway here. And I'm gonna make a save here as well, just so I don't have to trek all the way back here in case I missed this.
There.
All right, so here's where we actually are now.
Oh, back in.
So we are right at the end of chapter 13, and the way this next part works is chapters 14 and 15 are another level, and it's directly below us, but it doesn't load in until we interact with this elevator. So what we're gonna do is at low FPS, we're going to run this way and open or like interact with the elevator. And when you do that, an invisible wall is supposed to block you, but at low enough FPS, it loads in late enough that you can actually get out of it before it blocks you. And then again, since chapter 14 is right below us, we can fall all the way back down there. And actually, we're not even going to enter chapter 14 at all. We're going to go all the way straight to the end of chapter 15, and the next checkpoint we hit is going to be for the final boss.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so we're getting ready for the end there.
Yes, we're very close to the end now. So we'll just see if we can get this.
Get that trigger on the way.
There we go.
Oh, there it is. Yeah.
I'm gonna pause the game because there we go. All right, so I land on some out of bounds collision. That's the eye poke machine right there, by the way.
Oh.
I can let this, when the elevator gets down here to load in, maybe I can show what this is supposed to look like. So normally, you come through here and you have this long, like 2-minute cutscene with Tideman where he is saying like, you know, oh, we had this all under control. This is the big marker, by the way, that's causing the whole, the whole outbreak and everything. He said, we had this under control. This isn't how it was supposed to happen, all this stuff. And, you know, then we go do the eye poke machine, have a fun time. But instead, we're just gonna drop down here and hopefully that hits the checkpoint. And if we do that right, we should hear a very loud "bwah" sound from the marker here. In just a second.
Oh.
And here we are.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
We're right at the end. Nicole's also supposed to... Yeah, so Nicole's supposed to be there, but she's not loaded because the way we did this, like she's supposed to be beckoning us towards the marker, but instead, Tideman shows up and shoots us with a javelin gun instead. I want to show off a cool little thing you can do here. This isn't even really a glitch, it just kind of looks funny.
Okay.
I mean, it looks sort of glitchy, I guess. You can damage boost yourself into the cutscene, and if you space it right, he'll do a little bit of a little breakdance kind of thing.
Can't wait.
Like that, yeah.
Oh, it like turns around.
And he spins, yeah. So when you enter a cutscene, it interrupts whatever animation you're in and forces you to, like, it pulls you into a certain spot for it to play out. Because none of the cutscenes are pre-rendered. It all has to happen, you know, in game. So it looks kind of silly.
What happened to him? He doesn't look so good.
I think the marker. Maybe someone in chat can tell me if they know more about the lore, but yeah, something to do with the marker, I think.
Oh.
So yeah, he impales us. He has a not very good time as well.
Big murder.
Fun fact: you can actually alt fire him there. You're I think intended usually to shoot him with the javelin.
Oh.
You can do that instead. Also, so Nicole's supposed to be here, like I said, comforting him or whatever, but she's actually not. It's the way because it's not loaded.
No, he's just kind of alone. Like.
Thank you, Isaac.
Yeah.
Now, time.
But surprise, the marker hallucination, which is what she is, actually wants to kill us. So now we go to a boss fight inside Isaac's brain.
Oh.
So we're gonna... Don't blink, by the way. This boss fight... Remember when I said earlier the boss fights in this game were not very difficult? Well...
Oh, yeah, I can't wait. Okay.
So we turn 30 FPS on so we can one-cycle this boss.
Here we go, everybody.
All right, and I moved the contact beam to my first slot so I could already have it equipped. So I'm just buffering the charge here.
Okay. Don't look away. About to end it.
All right, and that's the final boss.
Ow! How is it that easy?
Real, yeah. It is a little bit more difficult on hardcore, but we have some strats for that too. It'll still make it pretty quick.
my gosh.
I will mention, if you're not at 30 FPS for whatever reason, you can't one cycler. You got to do it in 2.
Gotcha.
Not 100% sure why, but
Well, it looks like his health is well.
his rig is very red, yeah. It's a little bit of a meme as well. The opening cutscene you have to watch for every run of that guy Edgar at the beginning that cuts you out of the straitjacket. He has this line where he says, "Your rig is red. It's red." So we joke around about the, you know, when you have to reset that your rig's red because you're going back to the beginning of the game.
I like that.
So yeah, just pointing out that his rig is red is a bit of a meme. It's funny. But yeah, this is pretty much the end of the game. I do have some other skips and cool glitches that we can show off after this, but this is the end of the main, 80% run here.
Awesome.
After
So we
this
would have hit
cutscene.
time already for that,
Sweet.
right?
Oh no. It's time ends when the final quick time event ends. So Ellie's gonna come back and rescue us here. We're gonna fly up into the air, and then it's gonna have me do a quick time event. And once that disappears, and when she pulls him into the ship, that's when time is.
Was this your great plan?
Oh,
Dumping on
gotcha.
Dad?
I'll make sure to mention it when it happens.
Full of bad ideas, remember?
Yeah, well,
Ooh,
here's another
man.
one. I'm crashing
Shot
through the
twice
roof
with
to
a
get you. Now move
heavy
your ass.
arrow.
Wait, no, Ellie, it's too
Yeah, he's
late.
moving around surprisingly well, considering the
not
probably
like-
very serious injuries that he's sustained.
Yeah, I guess that's above where his heart was. Still. Oof.
That's true. I wonder if it went through his hand too. That's not very fun.
Yeah. Ugh. You just pulled it right out.
Oh yeah, you can't die here, by the way. It's kind of hard to do, but these projectiles that were flying by will actually kill us.
Oh well.
Well, the first one you can kind of just stand still. The second one you have to actually dodge. Usually once you kill the final boss, if you're on PB pace, you can kind of relax because you're pretty much done with the run, but you do have to not die here because like that
Right.
would kill the run. But
To make sure.
yeah, once you get to this point, you're thinking, oh, okay, I made it. All right, so here's the quick time event. So time's coming up right here and time.
Cool.
There we go.
Nice.
So yes, that
we're
is
not done.
Well, we're not done.
quite done with the show.
We're not
we got
done.
a little bit more to watch.
All right. So
That is what goes into a lot of this run for mostly any percent.
yes, yeah, we definitely did show off some stuff that you wouldn't see in the main run there, just because it's kind of convenient, going along. But yeah, that's mostly the 90% run. So I guess we'll jump into some of the little shorter one-off kind of glitches and things.
Yeah.
Okay. So
I'm right into it. Let's go.
Chapters 8 and 9. It's one big level, right? Well, there is a skip that was useful for some categories a little while ago called Descent Skip, which is actually kind of a joke because there's a big skip in Dead Space 3 called Descent Skip that was found before this. So then this got found and it ends up falling. You fall, and so we were like, okay, Descent Skip. It's the same thing. So this is an area in Chapter 9 you come up to. There's that tram I mentioned that you normally use. So you can see all these platforms and things. You normally start down there and work your way all the way up here. You do a puzzle, tram comes in, you take it down, and it takes you to that area that we skipped to earlier. But it turns out you can do a wall boost on this collision here, which boosts you out of this window. So now we're out of bounds here. And I can walk off the ledge and fall all the way down here.
Oh,
And now we're on
love no
this
fall damage.
we're on this lower platform. Yes, fortunately there's a fall timer, but no fall damage. That's very
Weird.
convenient. I actually didn't mention it either, but you might have noticed that the falling animation doesn't loop properly. It kind of like abruptly resets every time it loops. I don't think they expected you to be able to fall for very far in the game. Or you're not
Yeah.
really expected to fall almost anywhere. There's like a few places you can fall like a foot, but nothing where it would like play the whole animation. It's
Yeah.
actually kind of useful because sometimes we use that as a visual cue, like, oh, his animation reset, so now I need to start pause buffering or
Oh,
things
gotcha.
like that.
Yeah.
It's actually kinda
So
nice.
they really just planned for one cycle.
Yeah, but it's kind of nice that they did it that way because it ends up working out. So now if I get lined up here and walk forward, the level loads in below me and we can fall all the way down here.
Oh my gosh.
And
I'm
now-
sorry, I missed what chapter we're in again?
Chapter 9.
9, okay.
If you remember, this is the pinball machine from earlier.
Yes. Oh,
So,
okay, cool.
So up there, out of bounds, is where we land in any percent, and then we drop down there and hit a checkpoint. But for this, we actually end up in the machine, and then we go through here, and you do a few rooms to get down there, back to where we were before.
Gotcha.
So yeah, that's Descent skip. Very sad that's not in the hardcore run anymore, but that's okay. Let's see. Oh yes, okay. I think this is the save that I'm thinking it is. So I mentioned we have a meme category called "Kill the Tripod." So.
Oh right, that's right. You mentioned that earlier.
Okay, maybe. Okay, not that save. I think it's the next one. Did I make a save there? I'm pretty sure I did. So I have should be this one, I believe. I have a few different chapter 1 saves. That's why I was wondering, but I think this is it. So, let me just make sure this is it. Yes. Okay. Perfect. Okay. So this is back at the very beginning of chapter 1 where we were duping the flashlight to skip some cutscenes, which I'm actually going to do again here. But before we get to Kinesis, the Kinesis module, we can actually get out of bounds and skip to the end of the level much faster. The reason we don't do it in any percent is because we don't actually get Kinesis at all, and it's required to beat the game. So if anyone wants to make a lot of people very happy, find a way to do the skip and get stasis somehow. But we're gonna do another flashlight dupe here. If you missed it before, the short version is pulling up a tutorial spawns an item in you can grab from anywhere on the map, and grabbing that item skips cutscenes. It's normally used in the intro to get you out of one cutscene, but for whatever reason you can spawn it in as many times as you want. So we're gonna get back in this vent again like we did before, except this time we're not gonna crawl all the way through. We're gonna get around a few corners here and then pick it up. And what that's gonna do is it's gonna interrupt the animation I'm in, and he's just gonna stand up. So right about here, if I just pick it up, he just stands up in the vent and we can walk around.
Oh, right. This is when we stand up.
So that's where you get Kinesis normally, but now we're out of bounds. Hopefully I get this first try. Sometimes this trick's a bit annoying, but I can do a stomp launch. Okay, cool. Onto this door.
Oh, nice.
And if I line this up correctly, hopefully I land on this ledge. Nice. Okay, I think I got that. So if I did that correctly, I'm going to show up at the store that we skipped at the beginning, where you normally are supposed to get your suit.
The suit, okay.
Yeah, there it is. Okay, nice. So apparently this checkpoint also gives you the plasma cutter for some reason.
Oh, interesting.
If it gave you Kinesis too, this would be perfect, but it doesn't, unfortunately. But yeah, so we're gonna. If you missed the suit
cutter
animation earlier, don't worry, we get to watch one here to get through and kill the tripod. But yeah, so this is what you would do in that category. You would do your intro cutscene stuff, or not cutscene, but like the opening of the game. Do that skip. You're here. You pick up the suit, and then you go kill your boss, and then your 5-minute speedrun is over. You know.
Right. Why do you have to get the suit in this category?
Oh, there's a door over here that locks unless you pick up a suit.
Oh, right. Okay.
So the game says, okay, you need to pick up a suit, and then once you do, you're allowed to progress. Because as you can tell from the run, you're not supposed to have the patient suit. It's a little bit glitchy in the main part of the run.
Exactly.
So this is their way of saying, okay, you gotta get this. But the thing we do in any percent skips this area of the chapter entirely. So you end up not having to pick up the suit at all. But yeah, this is what the air meter is supposed to look like.
Yeah.
And the main suit that most of you probably recognize. I'll kill the tripod for all the Kill the Tripod fans out there.
This one. So we did see that one earlier.
Oh yes, so yeah, this is the room that you end up in earlier.
You just have to hit the 2 arms, right? And that's it.
Yeah, that's it. All right. Okay, let's jump around. There's something else I could maybe do in chapter 1, but I wanna show off some of this stuff first. Okay, chapter 7. So this is a level that we skip completely in 80%. We don't go up the elevator. We don't do any of the stuff in the solar array. None of that stuff. But there's a lot of cool stuff you can do up here. So this is after the elevator ride. And we're gonna use our good friend, the javelin gun again, for a cool piece of tech. Fun fact about this trick, by the way, there's an out of bounds we're gonna do here. And I'd like to say, oh, we looked, and found all this cool stuff, and we, figured it out by ourselves. I was browsing on YouTube. I just searched up Dead Space 2 glitches, and I stumbled across a video from 2011 when the game came out of someone doing this out of bounds. And we had no idea about it until like last year, like 10 years later. The speedrunning community found it. And I don't know if that person's still out there. I don't know if they're ever gonna see this, but thank you for finding this because it's pretty sick. So
Yeah. Love stuff like that.
So if you normally when you shoot these things of glass out, it pulls you in and then kills you if you get too close to it. And for every other one in the game, this doesn't work. But for some reason, here, if you shoot this down and then alt fire it, it breaks the glass, but I'm not dead. And I can actually get into this area. And this is kind of neat because the game will put zero-G areas in places you can't actually get to so that things will float. Like, they have the illusion that things are in space. So they'll put bodies or props or whatever and they'll be floating, but it's actually a zero-G area. And if you get into it, you can still fly, which is pretty cool. So now we can use that to get on top of the level.
Oh, okay. Awesome.
And then we can go over here. And if I do this right, I can drop down and open this door, which gives me a deload here. And then I can run through this part of the ship. We can skip a hack panel here, as well as a room in here where you're normally supposed to destroy all 5 of those fuses, do a bunch of puzzles, all that stuff. Usually takes about 2 minutes to get through just this room, actually.
Yeah, I'm surprised that this is not an any percent.
Yeah, no, this whole level gets skipped in 90%.
Oh, right. You
But
just skip all it.
in hardcore, you do this, actually. Because there's no way to skip Chapter 7 without hitting a checkpoint and reloading, so you do have to come up here still.
Oh, gotcha.
And you might not be able to recognize it, but this area is the room I started in when I loaded this chapter, actually. It all loops back around. This is just the second floor. And if you go through here... Oh, I gotta do the hack panel first, I guess. But that takes you up to the solar array, which is the puzzle you have to fix. But here's another cool trick that's not super useful for really, like... there's like one category extension run that I think uses this. But we can actually do a save station clip, but off a hack panel instead. So it's the same exact thing, low FPS, move forward, aim, interact, pops you through the floor. And we land back in a zero-G area here. And I'll see if I can do this setup. I don't do this trick super often, but I believe it is... I'm looking for some stars in the background.
Gotcha. Do you have enough air left for it?
That is a good question, actually. And we're gonna find out. Oh, there it is. I was just oriented weird. There they are. Okay. This might work. We'll see. Once I start falling, I think I won't die from the air, though.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll see. What were we gonna say?
All right, we got time.
There we go. All right, that should be far enough. All right, we'll see if I hit that. So I actually, if I hit that, that's the same checkpoint we use in any percent. You just do it from the top instead. And we got it. Nice. So there's a category extension where you collect all the weapon schematics in the game, and it's useful for that because you do have to go up there to grab the items, but once you get all of them, you don't have to do the whole, fix the solar array and then the auto scroller to get back down here.
Right.
So you can just jump right down.
That's super cool.
Okay.
That's nice to see, like, hey, this is useful in a category extension, or this is useful for this. We have a whole hotfix show based on unique category extensions.
Oh yeah, yeah. Oh, no category left behind, right?
No category left behind, correct? Yep.
Yes. Yeah, there's a lot of these things that I'm showing off now are useful in at least some category extension, or at least were at some point.
Yeah. You should submit for that, by the way, and show those off as well. It's really cool.
That is a good idea.
Yeah.
All right, so to show off this next trick, I actually do need to do this hack panel here. This guy might be a little annoying. Oh no, he gave me a good pattern. Okay, cool. So we ran through this room earlier deloaded. So saying, hardcore or even in No Out of Bounds, you can do a similar deload to skip this room. Which I actually should mention is kind of cool. So in No Out of Bounds, obviously you can't, use a deload to leave the level and fall out of bounds and die and all that stuff. But as long as you don't do that, you can still do deloads to say run through locked doors. So you actually do that a lot in that category. So there's still a lot of cool stuff you can do there. So this is a pretty infamous trick here. Part of the reason people were so excited about Chapter 7 skip is that you didn't have to do this trick right here. And this is cup skip. So normally you got to do a whole 2-minute sequence of crawling through these vents very slowly, doing some puzzles, and then coming back out here. And what that does is it lowers this wall here. and it lets you destroy these 5 fuses, and that unlocks the door over there. But I'll see how many tries it takes me to get this. I can put an explosive on this cup. That's not good. Am I still able to get this throw? Nice. Okay, and okay, that almost worked. So you can use the explosive to chuck it over the wall and break them. So I got an enemy to spawn, which means I broke some of the fuses, but not all of them. So I can try this again. If not, I can just reload the room. But I want to get this at least once because it's pretty cool. All right.
That seems hilarious.
Yeah, it's very funny until you have to do it in a run, and then it doesn't work, and then you're like, okay, well now I gotta reset.
Yeah, but I love that it's just with the cup.
It's
my
very
favorite part.
It's very silly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mentioned there were some skips and glitchless. So we actually do allow this because you don't go out of bounds, you don't throw anything out of bounds, you don't clip anything out of bounds. There's literally just a gap there, and you throw it over to another inbounds area. The only problem with that is it means you got to do it in glitchless, so you get like an hour in, and then you gotta hope this works.
Yeah.
So that's a little annoying sometimes, but there we go. Oh, once the lights turn red, that's how you know you got it.
Oh, interesting.
Nice. That's what you want to see in your glitchless run.
Yeah.
So then, after you wait for this dialogue to play out, it'll open that door, and you can continue through there.
That's cool.
Oops.
I love that one.
not-
That's one of my favorites I've seen.
Multiplayer, please. Okay. Yeah, that's
Like
cup
it's,
skip.
like,
That's pretty cool.
Showing his brain.
Let's see here.
Hero.
Ooh, okay, this will be really cool. So,
Okay.
I mentioned we skipped the eye poke machine. That is somewhat more new. So we've been talking about all these deload tricks, and this is actually the first one that was found in the run that was fast. And this was back when the run was a 145. That was the 90% record. And
Wow, right.
And then we found this trick, and then we just had to start going through the whole game looking for deloads, and we're still finding more now. So it's been over a year with this trick, and we're still finding a lot of crazy stuff. So we do the eye poke machine here, and you do a hack panel, which unlocks these doors. Now, the area I jumped to from before is like basically the roof. But we can't get up there from here. But what we can do is do another one of these 2-door deloads where you open one, hit the other, run back, and now this area is just deloaded. And if you do this right, you can get on this ledge here and run off. That looks pretty good. And that skips all of chapters 14 to 15. But you have to, well, you do the first part of 14, and you got to do eye poke, cutscene and stuff. But then, boom, final boss.
So then once you do that, oh my god, it's another way to get there. That's so funny.
Yeah, so this was the original way to do this. This saves about 4 minutes. And then the other version we did, which is called eye poke skip, because you don't actually have to do the eye poke machine, saves another 4 minutes. So the net time save over glitchless is about 8 minutes. A little less, but it's around there.
Wow.
So that's a very cool trick.
Wonder how you got down the other hour.
Yes. Yeah, we gotta get that 59.
Yeah.
All right. So when we did drill skip earlier, we skipped from chapter 12 to pretty far into chapter 13 here. This is where you normally start. The drill crashes into here, and you're in this big lobby. Now, this was something that we wanted to skip for a really long time, because you got to go through there and do, I think it's like a 2-minute cutscene with Ellie, and it just takes forever. It's like a huge pace killer, because you do this auto scroller, you have a cutscene, you get control here, you do another 2-minute cutscene, and you get down there. But
good story, but bad speedrunning.
Exactly. But the trick is, this is all loaded, and if you get down there, you don't have to do any of that. And the really sad part is you can wall boost on this, but just barely not high enough to climb over it to get down there.
Right. I remember this from earlier.
If you were able to do that, you could get down there. And sadly, you actually can't. But that's okay, because if you remember earlier, we can use props to clip through the floor. There were a bunch of dumb memes of like putting these items in front of the save station and using that to get on top of them, and it ended up not working. And there's a bit of a funny story about how this got found. So we were messing around with that, and I mentioned before, another member of the community, Looney, came in and he said, well, okay, so you can't clip far enough down there, but have you seen if any of the other parts of the floor are less thick, you know, like any more like thin? And I said, no, we haven't tried that yet, actually. It's a really good point. And we tested it, and some of these parts of the floor are actually extremely thin, and you can clip through them. So instead of using the save station and all those memes, I'm going to turn VSync on to get 30 FPS, which just makes it easy to slide this table under me. And then I'm going to turn the FPS off, or the VSync off to get more FPS.
Sync off, yeah.
So I can clip through the floor like that.
Oh, that was so quick.
It's a similar, oop, I'm falling off. Okay, it's a similar thing where you're on a solid object that you can't push. So then when you stand on it, it tries to push you away. And so,
Right.
and then it pushes you to the floor.
Right underneath it. Right.
Now, I can't actually get in bounds from here. Well, actually I could probably, but I can hit a checkpoint here instead. And then it'll put me at the bottom of this room here, and saves about 2 minutes. And this was an amazing discovery when this got found. We were all super excited. And it's funny to think about now because now we don't even come to this part of the game anymore.
Yeah, now you just like totally skip all this, yeah.
Yeah. All right, so I'm gonna go to this next room here so I can show off another cool trick that we also skipped.
Yeah.
So,
And it's cool to see all this stuff and be like, this is now obsolete because look at all the other things we've been finding. Like you and the community seem like you work really well together to like want to explore things, which is awesome.
oh, absolutely, yeah. All right, so shout outs to Alexis. This is called Alexis Strat. If you walk forward here, these guards put on their lights and you get staggered for a moment where you have to stand still. But if you pull up the rig, which is your like inventory here, you can keep moving. And you just avoid the stagger animation there.
Oh, wow.
It's a pretty small time save, but it's kind of cool that it works.
Yeah, absolutely.
That wasn't the cool trick I was talking about though. There's no, but no, well, I mean that trick is cool, but there's a much bigger skip that we can do here.
Coming up, yeah.
Speaking of which, there's actually 2 ways to do it. I'll show the OG way. Another community member, Radish, he was getting ready for a marathon actually, like doing an 80% run, and I was gonna be commentating with him and my friend Kyle, and we found this like right before the marathon, and he's like, okay, I guess I gotta practice this now, like 15 minutes before. This trick is really difficult. He's really good at the game though, and he was actually able to get it in in the marathon run after just learning it, which was super cool.
Cool.
I'm gonna.
Awesome. Good for him.
I'm also gonna save here because if I don't get this, I get soft locked, so I don't want to have to like run all the way back. But
Go back and do it again, yeah.
there actually are some versions of this that work in glitchless, because the way this works is when you pull this battery out, the door locks. But if you're really quick, have good movement here, you can open the door, then pull the battery out, and then get out of this room before it locks. Because normally you're supposed to get locked in here for about a minute while Tideman comes in and says, how could you turn the power off? All the necromorphs are going to get in now.
Right.
But we're going to skip that. Oh, I got it first try. Nice. Okay, so we get out of the door there.
Wait, how?
Okay, wait, I can do it again. Hold on. I gotta load that save. I was expecting to do that fast.
It's gonna give us like a little breakdown of the setup for that.
Yeah, so
What category is this used in? This is just
let
a
me think.
previous skip.
You could use this in No Out of Bounds, as well as, well, there's a version of this that gives you a deload. You can't do that in glitchless, but you can do this first part because all you're doing is just opening the door and then running out. Like you don't go out of bounds or anything like that. Essentially, all you do is you open the door and you run over here so you can just barely grab the battery. And you have to do it really quick or else you can't get back to the door. So you do this, you come over here, you press kinesis really fast. When you do it, you kind of just have to assume that you're gonna get it and immediately run for the door. And then if you don't,
Gotcha.
you just say, oh, okay, open the door again, come here, pull kinesis, then, then run out. So I'll see if I can do it again. Nice, okay. We're able to we're able to get out of the door there. And I gotta be a bit quick here. So I can get to this door. I forget if I mentioned the name of this skip already, but this is called Idiot Skip.
Idiot skip?
Because Tideman calls you an idiot here, and it deloads the level right when he says that. Which is gonna be useful here because once he's done talking, it loads back in, and we can continue through here. And you might recognize this now. This is actually where we end up after drill skip.
Oh.
Right here.
Gotcha.
And then we just
Yeah.
So like when you fall down, you open the door, you get this deload, the same one, and then you continue
Right.
through. So all that stuff from the beginning, the floor clip, crawling through the vent, idiot skip, all that gets skipped with drill skip now.
With drill skip.
So very fast.
That's awesome.
All right, let's see what else we have here.
A lot evolving about this game, like just the past year, I would say.
It's been very crazy to see all of this stuff happen.
Yeah, for a game that came out like 11 years ago, like look what's happening with it now.
Yeah. Ooh, okay,
Pretty cool.
here's some cool stuff. Okay. So like I said, I won't show all of them because like a lot of them are pretty similar, but in chapter 8, there's a reason we had chapter 8 skip and skip and skip. We kept calling those names because we would find a skip, find something faster than that, and then we would just keep finding things that were even faster. So this is I can't even call it the original chapter 8 skip because actually there's one before that, but this is the first one I learned. So this is what I'm going to show because this is actually still used in the no deloads category because most of the tricks in this chapter involve deloading this room. Oh, and here we go. This is, if y'all remember, this is the locked door that we ran through earlier when we came through here. I can run back here for visual reference if that helps. So this is the room where we did the deload. There's an enemy here sometimes.
Okay.
So this is where we did.
My first question is which deload, but yeah.
Oh, I can do it again here. It looks something like this.
Oh, mm-hmm.
And then you go. Oh yeah. So here I can actually do it both ways here. So I go through, and then we had the room with all these lights here.
Okay.
So that's where you run through with the deloads. If you run through here normally, then everything's actually all normal here. So normally when you have the deload, you can actually run through this door here that's malfunctioning. And then that door over there is where we did the damage boost to land outside the pinball machine.
Gotcha. Oh, right.
But since we can't, if you're doing a no deloads run, you can't do that. But there is still another way to skip towards the end of chapter 9. So we're gonna again use the power of having the detonator mines as a visual cue, even if this room isn't here anymore. So we're gonna put that there for later. We're gonna head through here. It's gonna look like I'm gonna get hit, but we're actually good.
You're gonna use that detonator even if you're not deloading though?
Yes. So what's gonna happen is I'm gonna go out of bounds. This room is gonna be deloaded. I'm not gonna be in there though. Because the game loads and unloads things as you go, so it's not a problem for rooms to unload necessarily. It's just you can't go into unloaded rooms or use them to unload collision or doors or things like that.
In this category, okay, cool.
Yeah. So I come into the 0G area, and there's actually a few clip outs I can do. This one's a bit better. So again, we're gonna use the align function to do an align clip. That was pretty fast actually. Nice.
Yeah, really fast.
You can see this level is very kind of confusing. You're supposed to fly through this fuel processing plant and it kind of swerves all around and goes different directions, but we're not going to go that way. Instead, what I'm going to do is I'll probably be able to point it out. There's a dot on the wall here I'm lining up with, but it's just so I get my angle right. I think that should work. So now you can see that detonator mine is still over there.
Okay.
And what I'm going to do is go to the right here, and then while aiming, put it off the left side of my screen, like that, and then fly forward. Yes. So that just gets us lined up in the right spot, because again, it's all dark and there's no way to know where you are.
This counts for no deload?
Yeah, so you're still allowed to go into out of bounds areas.
Oh, right, out of bounds, but not deload. Oh, it's confusing.
It's confusing because in no deloads you can go out of bounds, and in no out of bounds you can do deloads. You just can't go out of bounds. So when you put it that way, it sounds kind of weird, but it makes sense.
Yeah.
And here we are. We're back down here, back in the little pinball machine. Oh yeah, and the characters are kind of loaded in here, but in a weird way, because the tram's supposed to be here, but it's not. So they're kind of just he's just kind of floating.
They're just hanging out.
He's hanging out. She's pushing some buttons that aren't there.
They're buttons. They're definitely there, I'm sure. Hearing somebody said something about quarantine skip?
Yes, I can show quarantine skip. Yeah, we can do that next, actually.
Okay.
Okay. So, all right. This trick is has a bit of a history to it. It's was widely regarded to be the hardest trick in the game. and just generally very annoying because well, one, it's very difficult, but it's also one of the first things you had to do in the run. So most of your runs would die here. So for a period of about 6 to 7 months, at the beginning of last year, this was in the run, and you had to do it if you wanted a top time. So it was very, very painful. But
Stressful, I'm sure as well.
yeah. But the other skip we do instead, the one that lets us keep the suit, is actually a lot faster and easier. So
Okay.
fortunately, that trick is obsolete, but it actually starts the same because we're gonna revisit our old friend Steve from earlier.
Oh, the enemy.
Yeah, we're gonna take good old Steve here,
Okay.
and he's gonna hold open a different door for us this time. So I'm gonna have to escort him down this way if he'll cooperate. Sometimes you'll see him actually climbing up. The enemies can actually wall boost on you as well.
Oh, weird.
Which is kind of
Okay.
interesting. So he'll kind of like climb on me. But yeah, part of the reason this was annoying is because you had to do this part really fast. Oh, see, he's trolling me. Okay.
Yeah, he's climbing on you.
All right, so he's gonna hold this door open instead.
Okay.
And we're gonna go this way and get a different deload. I should also mention, I guess, loud noise warning. There's like a loud burst of steam that happens here in a little bit.
Okay.
It's not that loud, but if anyone wants to turn their volume down at all, just be warned. Okay, so you can see it deloads here. When I turn this corner, here's when the sound's gonna play in like a second or two. So we go here.
Oh wow, yeah.
So now I'm in another deload. This may take me a few tries. If I'm lucky, I'll get it first try. We'll see. So essentially, I'm navigating not out of bounds, but in a deloaded area here. Now I won't open it because I don't want to load the level in. But there's a quarantine room here where is he gonna come attack me? Yes.
Oh.
Normally, you have to kill a bunch of enemies, and then once the quarantine's over, it lets you out. So that's what we're going to be skipping here. But we have to line up a stomp launch on a ledge that we can't see here, and then do a very, very tight door dive. You don't have a lot of time to interact with the door without falling too far and dying. We'll see how it goes. We use the locator here to line up the edge of our screen with, and then we stomp. Oh, let's go. Let's go. We got a first try.
Got it.
Yes.
Woo!
Okay, very nice. So opening that door is really important because it loads the level in down here, and it also lets this part of the level load in.
Cool.
Now we can go through here, and just in case anyone missed it from us not doing it last time, this is where you actually get stasis in the run.
Oh, we're back to doing that.
Yeah, so this is why you don't get it in the main run.
And the actual 20% now.
Yeah, 90%. Oh yeah, 90%. Yeah. I think quarantine skip's pretty much dead. There's one category extension run that technically it's still fast for, but we're trying to figure out a way to not have to do that.
Right. Yeah. Because it's just done.
Yeah, but we got it, so I'm not gonna complain too much about it.
Awesome.
All right, let's see here. There's some stuff in chapter 5 I could show, but I'll probably show that at the end because that's some of the sort of beta audio log kind of stuff. It's pretty cool.
Oh yeah.
Sure.
We're getting pretty close.
Yeah, I think we're pretty much at the end here. I think I'm just trying to make sure there's not anything else I missed.
Yeah.
If there's any other Dead Space runners in chat, if there's any other cool things that I missed that I should show off, go ahead and let me know, and I'll go check that out.
Yeah, feel free to chat now. Let us know.
Yeah.
Like regardless, this has been super well-rounded, very informative, and there's a lot. I mean, it's just been like constant. Well, we're gonna deload this. There's no doors. Now we're gonna float around. We're gonna wiggle.
Yeah, it can be a kind of a hard game to explain as you go sometimes because there's like a lot of things going on. But
yeah, for sure.
But hopefully you and everyone else has enjoyed so far. I always love rambling about this game and talking about all the cool glitches.
This is why I do this show. Because all these runners, all of you runners of these games, always get so excited to talk about this stuff that you don't get to do during normal runs. So it's really fun for me to have the platform for you all.
Oh yeah, no, this has been a blast so far.
Yay!
So yeah, all right. So I do need to. I'm gonna exit. Okay, so I need to pull up a tool that lets me fly in 0G here, because otherwise I can't get out of bounds up here to get this beta thing. I'm going out of full screen here because the game likes to crash sometimes if you tab out while it's in full screen. So just to have that not happen, I'm doing that. just in case you're wondering. Okay, so this will take me
no worries.
just a second. Pull up here. So I'm pulling up a cheat engine table that lets me activate 0G whenever I want.
Oh, okay. So we're really messing around now.
So that's pretty fun because you can. It's not quite like free cam, but it's kind of like that almost. So I'll see if I can clip out here somewhere, like a wiggle clip or something. I'm pretty sure there's got to be a clip somewhere in here you can do.
Yeah.
We'll figure it out. Oh, there we go. Okay, we're through the floor. Nice.
Nice. That's fast.
Okay. I'm gonna turn 0G off, and then I'll have to turn it back on here. But hopefully I can get this first try here. It should be somewhere like here-ish. There we go. Okay, I'm gonna be quiet here. This audio is actually kind of quiet, but I'll let the whole thing play out here.
Oh wait, I'm gonna listen.
All right, all right.
Had to sabotage the system to get out of the crypt. What happened?
Unitology crypts have defenses to keep people from screwing with them. You triggered a lockdown. The elevator up to the shuttle is offline. I'll have to find a workaround. Just get here as fast as you can. And don't mess with any more bodies.
Bodies mess with me first.
So those are not those aren't the voice actors from the main game for Isaac and Dana. So I'm just left to guess that that's like some kind of beta, thing left in from earlier in development, I guess. But there's a few of those audio logs. I know where, like, maybe actually I'm not sure if I could get to it, but there's a few others you can find around the level somewhere, I'm sure. But yeah, it's pretty interesting how that works.
Yeah, it's cool to find that. Yeah, it's like I wonder if maybe they were using people who like were working at the studio for that to just like record the lines real quick to have those in, or maybe they were like actors they were using for like maybe they were like we're almost going to use those actors and then replace them, or like you just don't you don't know.
I mean, it makes sense too why the audio is a little bit less balanced on like the main game because it's not supposed to be. You're not supposed to find it. I just think it's cool that it's still there.
Yeah.
I guess
agree.
one other quick thing too. This is an area in Chapter 5 that you're normally supposed to go through in glitchless.
Okay.
In any percent, before we skipped the first part of Chapter 5, we would actually use the 0G area there to get up here, and then we would do a lineup something like this. And we land here, and if I go up this way, you may recognize this, but this is the door we actually hit for that 4+5 skip we did, where we like got on the ceiling with the floor clip and then opened this door, and it takes us back into this room.
Yeah, to go through the other side. Oh yeah.
So we used to do the way the floor clip trick got found was we had this trick called vent skip because it skips crawling through a really long vent section. We had vent skip, and we knew that load zone was there you could hit, and then we realized, okay, well maybe 4 and 5 are loaded at the same time. Like, could you just teleport to that? And then you could. And so then the question was, okay, well, could you hit it? And then we found the floor clip, and then got on the ceiling, and then it's all got figured out from there. But it's cool how all that stuff works.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So much just wow, it really is cool like seeing so much that's happened with this. I guess this isn't a game that I was really that exposed to. First of all, because I was like, oh my gosh, the first one was so stressful for me. I don't think I can play the second one. And I heard it was so scary. So it just like didn't have a lot of exposure to it until recently in past AGDQ and now learning about it this way.
Yeah.
And it's so much less scary seeing it in this format, but it's so cool to see just all of the things that you and your communities, like everybody you've been involved with, have found with this.
And that's one of the reasons that I think running horror games, particularly this trilogy, is what makes it so fun. Is you're not intended to go fast or like sometimes even really like. Even if it's your first playthrough, you almost don't even want to explore because you don't want to like run into anything scary. So it's fun to go and try to like break these games apart and see how it kind of works behind the scenes.
Yeah.
But like I said, when I first started playing this game, I did not think it would be that because casually the game is really not glitchy at all. You hardly ever run into any glitches. The main thing you see is okay, you're playing on PC and you have really high FPS, so that means you're flying everywhere because ragdoll physics or stuff like that. But that's a PC port thing. That's not really the game, like all versions of the game. So it's generally pretty glitchless casually or like bug free. So I did not expect that. And I think the first skip I saw was that thing in chapter 4 where you push the sign through the wall with the explosive on it and breaks the fuse. And my mind was completely blown by that when I saw that the first time. I was like, I had no idea you could do that.
Yeah.
And it's funny
like
because
me and
that's
watching
like
speedrunning for the first time, just like how, you know?
yeah, and it's just funny because that's like totally tame compared to like your drill skip or some crazy thing you do. Where it's yeah.
It's so awesome. But it's
insane.
funny because I'm sure you're like, whoa, this is so wild. And I'm like, I feel like I've seen so many games that have so many absolutely wild glitches at this point where I'm like, yeah, it seems about on par, you know, it's like normal now.
Exactly, yeah.
That's awesome.
I'm trying to think. I think I think I might have showed everything I wanted to show, unless if there's anybody, like I said, if there's any other Dead Space runners in chat, if there's anything I missed or any other cool things you want me to show, I can do that. I think I got everything though.
Yeah, I don't really see anything in chat that seems like relevant for skips and stuff. So looks like I think we got the whole shebang.
Awesome.
Yeah, I know, right? It's pretty wild. So you know what it's time for? Time to talk about you. Where can we find you? Like, you know, how do we get in contact? How do we watch your stream? Like, where are you? What are you doing?
So my if you want to come check out some Dead Space 2 runs or other speed runs, you can mostly find me on Twitch. It's Sharkcat87. I mostly do runs of this game. Like I said before, there's that new skip in chapter 6, so we're going to be trying to improve the record a bit with that. I'm very excited for that. But I do other speedruns as well, so if you want to see that, Sharkcat87 on Twitch. It's, you know, same on YouTube as well. Spelled the same. So if you want to check out either of those, pretty easy to find me. Be glad to explain more stuff, or, you know, for other Dead Space games as well, or anything, if you want to come check that out.
Awesome. So what are you working on right now?
Oh, on stream, I'm de-rusting a little bit of some Dead Space 3 any percent for an event I'm doing in a little bit later. And I'm also going to be grinding some more any percent for this game, trying to beat the record. The record's a 104.36 right now. With the new skip, it might be possible to get 103, so that's my main, probably be my main goal after this.
Awesome. Well, so is that kind of like your upcoming as well? You just want to like keep on with 20% for this for a while? Do you have any other games you want to add in or anything else?
Well, I occasionally run Dead Space 1 and 3 as well. I've been running Outlast a lot recently, actually, as well.
Cool.
Also an extremely glitchy game. Very cool tricks and
Writing
tech.
that down. Hang on.
Lots of very cool, kind of similar to this in the sense that there's like lots of cool, like different routes. That game, oh man, that game is so broken though. It's so fun though.
Great. This is what I want to hear. Yeah,
And-
if you have
oh,
any
and-
other broken game recommendations, you need to hit me up after this. Let me know.
Definitely. Outlast 2 as well is pretty broken.
Awesome.
I will say.
Okay, cool. That is actually really good for me to know too. So you have lots of awesome content you all can see. If you enjoyed this and you love the Dead Space series, or specifically this game, Sharkcat is the person to follow. Go check him out. Go watch the stream. Go give him some support. Say hello. Drop in and say, hey, I'm here from GDQ Hotfix. I think that would be awesome. That would make me feel super good. And I don't know, maybe you care about that, maybe you don't. But still, you should do that anyway.
That would be fantastic, yeah.
Yeah. See, there you go. See, it's more important that Sharkcat is excited about it than me anyway. So thank you all so much for being with us this evening. It's so great to be back. I know I've said that several times, but, you know, took a little break and now here we are. Once again, keep in mind this show is usually every first and third Monday of the month at 10 p.m. Eastern. And it's really the place to go if you want to see glitches and learn about how they work and how to set them up and all of that stuff. You can check out our past episodes as well as any other GDQ Hotfix material or past GDQ events. On the YouTube channel, it's the easiest place to go. You can watch all of that. You can even watch our, you know, past pre-shows for main GDQs. We work hard on those, I'm telling you. You can see me run at Hobbs and Spike with a metal chair. Why? You'll have to watch it to find out. That's just at youtube.com/gamesdonequick. Or if you're watching on YouTube, which is awesome, you can always watch us live as well, because this is super fun to do live. And that's at twitch.tv/gamesdonequick. So, quick reminder again that Frost Fatale is coming up. Let me see what else is going on. All of these hotfix shows and other live content usually starts weeknights at 7 p.m. Eastern and weekends at 1 p.m. Eastern. So it's earlier on the weekends for those who aren't usually up this late. Yeah, and all of your subs and bits are helping to support this weekly hotfix content. So thank you all so much for that. Yeah, you can also submit your own ideas at gamesdonequick.com/hotfix. You have ideas for like shows and things like that. Tomorrow is a special episode of The First Step. Wait, tomorrow? Oh my gosh, usually that's on Thursday. Oh my gosh, I gotta tune in and see what that is. This is a special episode of The First Step with our friends from the Monterey Bay Aquarium. That's super cool. There's a full announcement on Twitter. You all can go check it out. And I'm just gonna just one more quick shout out for Frost Fatale because it starts this weekend, Saturday, February 27th until March 5th. It's gonna be so much fun. It's not 24 hours a day, but it's definitely long chunks a day. It usually starts around 2 p.m. and goes until midnight-ish, maybe 1. It just depends on how each day goes, but it's gonna be super fun. Feel free to tune in. I'll be talking with people working with Malala Fund at the beginning of each day, so you can learn more about the Malala Fund. There's no the Malala Fund that way, and get to know the people, get to know what they do and how they promote women's education and all of that. It's really awesome. I've talked to several members working with them before, and it's such a pleasure. So go support the event. Tune into more Hotfix shows. You all are awesome. And please go visit Sharkcat's stream. Please do that. That would be great.
Thanks for watching, everybody.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much, Sharkcat. Again, you were awesome. This was so much fun.
Yeah, thank you again for having me on. It was awesome.
Of course. Yeah, I know. I'm so excited that you came on. But all right, everybody. We will be seeing you in 2 weeks from now for our next episode. Super excited. We have March coming up. That's Women's History Month. So, maybe you'll see some more ladies that way as well. It's going to be awesome. And I will see you all soon. Have a great rest of your night, everybody. Bye.
See you, everybody.